Welcome to the PP Show, where the D-Gens come to have discussions. Here at the PP Show, everyone has a voice, no matter how long you've traded in the markets. We love all opinions at the PP Show, and we hope you do too. Always remember this show is mainly comprised of opinion, speculation, and entertainment. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, you dildo enthusiasts. God bless Teddy and G-Merica. One last thing, always remember, talk is cheap. It takes money to buy whiskey.
Sorry about that, fellas. How the fuck you doing, man? It's great to see you guys. Hope you guys are well. Thank you for joining me on the PP show, man. My bad. I thought we were already on the screen there. You guys never know what it looks like backstage, so yeah. It was. I thought I was already on the screen there. How you guys fucking doing tonight? It's great to fucking see you guys. We will have Jake2B tonight, man. He says tonight is a night of tit jacking, man. He says the information he stumbled upon or has started to discuss. He said he was shaking, man. You know, I mean, I know I might be hyping it up pretty fucking hard, man, but you know, Jake says that he wants it to be an exclusive thing to the PP show. So I think it's going to be fucking explosive, man. So I'm ready to fucking see it tonight. Thank you guys for joining me on the PP show, man. We're going to get into some legality, and then we're going to bring out a couple guests that we have backstage. So right on. Thank you for joining me tonight. Again, if you love Bed Bath & Beyond like we do, you found yourself at the perfect spot, man. So make some friends in the chat. Get familiar with the community, man. We got some great fucking people here, man. So great to see everyone tonight. All right. Legality. I am not a financial expert, nor am I a financial advisor. So please seek the avenues to do so, man. You're not going to find it here. A lot of this is opinion. A lot of this is speculation. And a whole bunch of it, man, is entertainment. All right. We like getting together. We like talking about the stock. And that's really all there is to it. It's no different than getting a beer in a bar, talking up someone's ear all goddamn night that you just met about something that you love. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind, any guests who come on the show, man, nobody here is a professional, all right? So if you hear any opinions, you hear any speculation, or you hear any TA things like that, keep in mind, man, nobody here is a professional. We like getting together, and we like talking about the stock, and that's really all there is to it, man. So right on. We did get a couple memberships here that I'll go ahead and read off. We got Chris... Chris with the soft PP membership. Right on, man. Appreciate the support, Chris. Tristan with the one PP show gifted membership. Right on, Tristan. If you got a membership from Tristan, be sure to give a thanks. And also Ace Ventura with the one PP show gifted membership as well. Right on, fellas. Appreciate the support. Tony Sal with the 2, Jake the Shake Roberts. All right. Elon Musk with the 2. Let the 500 begin so PPs can now meet RC or Elon. Appreciate the love, Elon. And Afterburner with the 2. Appreciate the love, man. All right. Let's jump into it, fellas. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it as well. You know, we have everybody here tonight. So let's jump into it. So chat, please give a warm welcome to Michael. Michael, how the fuck you doing tonight?
Doing amazing. Feeling really zen.
Right on, man. Yeah. Are you in like a fucking greenhouse or what?
Yeah, a fancy greenhouse.
All right. Right on, man. Cool. Good to see you tonight. Right on. We do have a couple things to get into. We'll start with the Pulte post in the subreddit, and there is a couple other things. Region Formal made a post as well today. There is a new series, Shorts Are Us, that we're going to start today. Part 1 looks pretty good. A couple things in terms of Weeble, things like that, eToro, and so forth. So right on. Good to see you tonight.
Yeah,
all right. Let's go ahead and welcome Travis the Stripper. Chad, give a warm welcome to Travis. Travis, how you doing, man? It's great to see you tonight.
Doing great. Please tell me you can see me dancing backstage.
I can, yeah, I can see all that. yeah. I always see that whenever we play your song there. You're always having a good time backstage. It's great to see you tonight, Travis. A couple things to get into. But before we do that, why don't we go ahead and also bring in ABC into the crowd as well. So, Chad, please give a warm fucking welcome, man, to ABC.
Welcome to the ThePPShow.
ABC, great to see you, man. How the fuck you doing?
I'm fucking awesome. How are you, brother?
Good, man. Yeah, we've
Travis, Michael.
Yeah, we've just been sitting around. We had a good show last night. We had a lot of new people, new faces on the show that we were covering a couple things with. So yeah, man, it's good to see you again, man. So right on.
Yeah, sorry I missed it. I fell asleep late last night there, just as
Right
I was
on.
about to hop on, and I got a little bit comfy, and yeah. But I rewatched it today. It was a good show, man.
Cool. Right on. Glad to hear it. All right. Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We do have that thing to pull up in terms of Bill. We do have one more guest backstage. So chat, please give a warm welcome to Wally Buck. All right, Wally, how you doing, man?
Doing fantastic. Zoltar, Travis, Michael, and PP. It's great to see you guys. Jack to be here.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah. So I saw there was last time we spoke, there was a lot of stuff going on in terms of you and Citizen. I mean, do you guys have some prior beef or what, man?
No, honestly, I think he's a great asset in the community. I really enjoy listening into him on Spaces. He's clearly put a lot of thought into, and it has a lot of intelligence into the theses that he promotes. And
Sure.
I know he's been around for a long time, so nothing but love for Citizen.
All right, right on, man. Cool. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Wally Buck, he has been in the play since February, right? Or was it before that?
September or August.
Okay, so it's been quite a while. So some people in the chat are saying Wally's a shill. Yeah, no platinum sparkle stuff. Hopefully tonight. We don't want to have to dildo slap you there. But it's good for you to sit in tonight. Give us your opinion and so forth. So right on. It's good to see you. All right. Let's go ahead and pull up that post, Travis, and let's jump into it. The shill fucking emojis, man. All right. All right. So for those of you who don't know, in terms of the Bill Pulte meetup, all right, with PP and the crew and Bill. So he made a post in the subreddit today. I think we can start with this and then move on to some other stuff for tonight. Now, what it says is, "Hello, peepees. I wanted to share a brief update on December 14th. First, I'm pumped. Second, I'm pumped. Third, I'm jacked." All right. We are going to try to make it a legit event, but let's set expectations super low. Don't expect anything. Only me and Pee-Pee. And I'm going to work hard to get drinks and a couple other people to come. I will ask RC to come, but I doubt he will come. That's a pretty big fucking statement, in my opinion. He's going to ask RC to join us.
Yeah.
We shall see. I will also ask other people, but just assume it's me and Pee-Pee. I want to be super clear before anyone books flights. Also, December is a good month to come to Florida, so enjoy. Maybe we will have a couple side get-togethers where we can have a brew. All right, so what do you fellas think? I mean, again, for him to invite RC is potentially quite large,
Doesn't he have to do it through his lawyer for some reason?
Well, as of right now, he would.
Yeah.
But
And so, he would have to talk to his lawyer, be like, "Hey, can you maybe send an invitation to him?" Because he has some legality that he hasn't told us. everything about it, and so we can only speculate. But he has some legality issues in place where he has to do it through his lawyer. So it's kind of weird. So I think when he says I'll invite him, it's probably through the mutual lawyer that they share. Other than that, I mean,
What do you think?
I mean, he could be a silent partner.
I can't say what I think.
In whatever investment Ryan Cohen, like whatever other investment Ryan Cohen is doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. I think it's this whole like, he's a silent investor, so he can't talk to Ryan, because if he talks to Ryan, he breaks that bind, and it becomes a whole lot of legalities. I'm with Michael on this.
Which in a way, we're technically kind of almost the silent investors in the fact that it's like, you know, we're just backing it because we're hoping that we're silent investors in Ryan Cohen because we believe in Ryan Cohen, right? So
right.
Yeah, and of course this is all speculation about, you know, what we think of Pulte's position, but you know, I don't know. Cool.
He said, "Yeah, sorry, go ahead."
No, put out the invitation, even if it's through your lawyer that has to talk to RC that can maybe make it, you know, whatever. I'm stoked. I'm still working out the logistics on my end. I hope to make it, and fingers crossed that I can. So,
yeah. All right, right on. All right, let's move into a little bit of DD for tonight, and Jake2B will be getting here probably in about 15 or so minutes. Someone in the chat said. Holy shit. There's a couple people spamming the shill. There's I just lost it here. Hold on. Where was it?
I think more than shill, it's honey potted or
oh, where's Citizen? Citizen has a link to the show, so he can join at any time. All right, fellas. Sound good? We also got waiting on a butterfly with the 2 no platinum sparkles, just titanium testicles. All right, right on. All right. I think they're spamming the shill because of Wally Buck. I think that's what's happening. All right. Look, I'll tell you guys something. If Wally Buck says anything shill-like, all right, comes across any type of shill way, we'll give him a dildo slap and we'll send him on his way, all right? Let's at least give him a chance, you know, let's give him a chance to facilitate a little bit of discussion tonight. Again, you know, just ECV says no Buck. Let's see, all right? Let's just wait. Let's see if let's fucking just see how it goes, all right? And if Wally Buck comes off of his shill, we'll give him a dildo slap. We'll send him on his way. All right, fellas. All right. Let's go ahead and pull up a post here from Region Formal. We can start there. No blue boxes today, unfortunately, but that is all right. Let me go ahead and send you that.
I have it actually. This one.
DRS for the win with the 2 Canadians says, Wally, will you denounce Sparkles right now? All right, I feel like that's a good place to start. Right? Here's the issue, right? It's because Sparkles was telling people to remove shares from their account. What do you think about that, Wally?
I think that's just terrible advice, and people shouldn't be giving advice like that. And I don't defend any of the behaviors of the Superstock mods in the past recent months. I just, you know, personally, I had a good time on that subreddit for a long time, and I don't think everything that happened there was always bad. And just trying to foster a welcoming sense within this community. I feel like when shills or bad actors, if they would like to have an opportunity to tell us why we are wrong, they shouldn't feel as though they're endangering themselves by doing so. So that was the spirit of, you know, my comment, but, you know, I'm ready to move past this, and man, that chat is something else.
They're eating you alive, man, is what they're doing. That's all right. All right. Again, if Wally says anything shill-like, we'll give him a dildo. We'll call it a night. All right, with Wally. All right. Thunderous Creeper with the 5 says, where's Plur? That's a great fucking question, man. You know, the thing with Plur is I reached out to him, man, and I haven't really heard from him. I don't really know what's going on with Plur, but hopefully we can get him back on the show soon. Again, a link is always provided to Plur. Carrie Kings with the 2. Michael has the same smile every fucking day. Zen as fuck. And we also got a 2 from Waiting on Butterfly. What's Wally's penalty for simping Sparkles? That's a great question, man. How about we put it up to a poll? We can let the poll decide. Flax with the 2. When will we know the Knoll plan? And then also Mo Money with the 2. Wally, if you send all of us toe picks, all forgiven. All right, that's a good start.
I was actually thinking about doing a fantasy honeypot league because like a whole bunch, like some shills came into one of the Twitter spaces and like everyone jumped on her. Like she was clearly a shill. She was like, her only friends were like this other shill in there, and everyone was just like trying to get at her. And I was like, man, we should do like a fantasy league and like place bets on who's going to get honeypotted first, because it's going to happen.
All right. Let's get into this post here from Region before Jake2B gets here. He'll be here any moment. Real quick, before we do that, why don't we welcome Jade onto the show as well? So chat, give a warm welcome to Jade.
Hey, beautiful people. How are you?
Jade, how you doing?
Hey,
Great to see you.
Yeah, I'm great. How are you? How's the dais? How are you handsome guys doing today?
Good. We're ready to get into a little bit of DD. We're getting some echo there from you, but
Okay,
we're looking forward to it.
And I'll come back, and I've got a little foil on the back end, but hey, chat, let's be cool and listen to PP, okay? Let's trust PP.
All right, right on.
I'll come back.
All right, we'll put you backstage there and pull you back in. Or
while we're waiting on that, I have a question. When's Plur gonna like donate $5 and be like, "Where's Thunderous Queefer"?
Yes, he's done it before. Yeah, he's done it before. We actually got just now a 5 from Bill Pulte. He says, "Don't say you're too tired to fight." December 14th. All right, Bill, let's fucking go, man. It's gonna be a fantastic time. Wow. A lot of jack titties out there tonight, man. Right on. Thunder Screefer with the 2. At Sloppy, need confetti rejuvenation. Yeah. Sloppy lost his internet. So hopefully we'll see him again soon. So right on. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and let Jay. Do you want to wait on that tinfoil real quick to share after Jake gets here?
Yeah. No. I'm totally waiting. Let's handle the business. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, real quick, we got Kaz calling us, so why don't we go ahead and answer his call? So, Chad, give a warm welcome to Kaz. Kaz, what the fuck's going on, man?
How you doing, guys? How you doing? How are you?
Good, man. We got all the fellas together, and the gals, and we're just gonna have a good time tonight, man. Talk a little DD.
I'm watching you, so I just wanted to interrupt you before Jake2B comes, and all I want to say, as Paul said, let's fight. I mean,
hold on. I think you're breaking up there. Are you there?
As a reminder that this Saturday at 6 p.m. we have the space with Bill Pulte. We're gonna talk only about the Pulte Group, and we're gonna talk about the new CEO of Pulte Group. And let me announce it before it's announced. His name is gonna be Bill Pulte.
Right on. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll be there Saturday for sure.
All right, guys, you're doing great. Thank you so much. I love you all.
All right, love you, Kaz. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, you heard it from Kaz, man. Right on. All right, let me go ahead and read a couple of these tips, and we'll jump right into this. My Apple's Ripe to Yo with the 5. Wally's punishment. He has to change his background to a pic of Sparkles every time on the show. Actually, I don't want to see that crap face. All right, you heard it from Apple's. Also, Jacqueline with the $5. Appreciate the support there, Jacqueline. All right, let's jump into it. All right, this is a post from Region Formal, man. And again, we'll be expecting Jake2B in just a moment. It might feel like we are in twiddling thumbs waiting mode right now, but I can assure you there's not long to go before we get a major update on this play. Here's why. No blue boxes today, because this is a very simple post. Exactly 3 weeks ago, I made a post about the registration filing by DK Butterfly with the State of New York Department of Corporations. And I think we may have read that DD there.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. The crux of that DD is that the company is required by Section 408 of the Business Corporation Law to file a biennial statement every 2 years with the New York Department of State. The biennial statement must set forth, 1, the name and business address of its chief executive officer, 2, the street address of its principal executive office, 3, the address to which the New York Secretary of State shall forward copies of process accepted on behalf of the corporation, and 4, the number of directors constituting. Constituting. That's what I was about to say.
Do I need to read this?
Constituting the board, and how many directors of such board are women. It's because the screen is dark. All right, I'm used to the light mode.
I'm sorry. Should Michael share? It's fine.
No,
the battle begins.
No, I got it.
I get it.
I'm just used to the white backgrounds. Yeah.
How are you not in dark mode like all the time? Like maybe it's just me. I'm a dark.
It fucks with my eyes.
I apologize. That's my fault.
Someone said, I think PP's glasses are movie prop glasses. Honestly, they might as well be, man. They're like a couple prescriptions behind. So hopefully I can get a new prescription glasses. All right. I'm sorry.
ABC in the private chat. 3-syllable words and PB gets trumped.
He's not fucking wrong, man. He's not wrong. All right.
Well, there's some that are one. That's fiscal, right?
All right. We'll get through it together. We'll get through it together as a team. All right. We'll get through together as a fucking team, man.
We can do this.
Yes.
I believe in us.
Yes. All right. So what it says is currently the currently registered information is that the CEO is Mark Trident, because that is what was stated in the last required biennial statement filed in October 2021. However, the registration page makes what is next required very clear. Let's take a look at that document. Kerry Kings with the 5. For Sloppy's Internet, I got 5 on it. All right, right on. Appreciate the love. Crayon Green with the 1 PP Show gifted membership. Appreciate your support, Crayon Green.
Unfortunately, it's not giving me anything, so that's a wash. I'm going to have to go back to... All right. Sorry.
So we'll have to let him know his link. Maybe he's not working there. Miha with the 2. Link for Chad, please. All right, we'll get Chad a link in just a moment. Mo Money with the 2. Bill Pulte, can you donate new glasses to PP? Loud. Why so serious with the 2? Yeah, blame dark mode on failing hooked on phonics. All right, probably, honestly, man. Short Hedge Fund Butt Rammer with the 420. Puts on PP's Hooked on Phonics subscription. Yeah, we're going to need to renew that there. Gary Kings the 5. Jake, hurry. I have blue balls. I need a release. Yeah, Jake will be here real soon. All right. Next statement due date 10/31/2023. So I believe we are basically guaranteed to have one of the following 3 outcomes by Tuesday. 1, mind blower. They make the filing. It states who DK Butterfly CEO is, either who that person is or what their background is. Tells us a lot about the direction of travel we are heading towards from now. It also most likely tells us the final effecting of whatever is happening in the background. Is close. 2, time buyer. They make the filing and it states the CEO is the plan administrator for the ongoing Chapter 11 proceedings. Michael Goldberg, this might seem like a nothing burger, but at least it does indicate that most likely whatever play is happening, it is just going to take more time. 3, the cock teaser. They don't make the filing, presumably taking the $50 fine for not doing so by the deadline. This might seem like an even bigger nothing burger, but I think this would be really quite telling. Essentially, it means they are prepared to ignore or even break state law in order to preserve the secrecy of whatever they are doing behind closed doors. So in many ways, this non-action is also pretty exciting in itself. So I am hitting the F5 refresh button on that New York State registration page every day now, because whichever of the 3 scenarios above happens between now and the month ending, it is going to be an intriguing data point for us to digest. Not long to go. All right. So, Ross Brown's in the chat. Send me a link and I'll join post Jake2B drop. All right, right on. We'll get Ross in here right now. Appreciate the love. Waiting on Butterfly with the 5 dark butterfly mode for the win. All right, let's get Ross a link. What do you fellas think about? Okay, what do you guys think? All right, you can use the link in the chat, or Michael's getting you one. What do you guys think about what we're seeing here right now? With what Region Formal is basically stating within this, do you think that we're going to see something transpire from now until the 31st? And if we do, how do you think they're going to approach it? Travis, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm perfect for this.
All right.
Scenario 1, you either file or you don't. Now, this is Secretary of State, not SEC filings. They have basically said we don't need to do SEC filings because we did the form 1525 25. I think this would be a bad move on their part because they could be in bad standing with the Secretary of State of New York if they didn't do the proper filings. They could ask for some leeway in confidentiality matters that the Secretary of State could then acknowledge. Gosh, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe ask for an extension for confidentiality reasons, and maybe we don't see it. That's a possibility. I mean,
right.
there's all kinds of different things that can come up with business where things can happen. And if you ask for confidentiality, maybe the Secretary of State does give it, maybe it doesn't. I don't really see that happening. You get into bad standing with the state, bad things can occur. So personally, I would file. I think they are trying to dot their I's, cross their T's, have all their loose ends tied up. I think that unfortunately it got extended further than what they originally wanted with some of these court dates.
Uh-huh.
So maybe they do try to hide it, but at the same time, they would ask for leniency from the Secretary of State and try to get an extension on that.
Mm-hmm.
Travis, quick question. Since you're the accountant and the resident stripper, if the company were to...
Ryan Cohen just tweeted. Sorry, go ahead, Wally.
Oh, that's awesome. If the company were to submit a request for an extension, would that have to be published, or would that just be something that happens behind the curtain and we wouldn't necessarily know?
I'm sorry, I was looking up the Ryan Cohen tweet one more time.
So if the company requests an extension, is that something that would have to be publicized, like a form with the SEC, or would that just be something with the Secretary of State and the company, and we'd really be in the dark as to whether it's number 2 or number 3 on Region?
It would not have to be publicly done with the SEC. With the Secretary of State, I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay.
I think you can request an extension without it being made public, but I'm not 100% on that. So I don't want to say you can do it and then I'm wrong, because I found out I was wrong yesterday and I still haven't recovered. All my credibility out the window.
Yeah.
That's not true.
All right.
So
go ahead.
I was going to say, let's take a look. Or ABC, do you want to add? And then let's pull up that RC tweet right after.
Honestly, I don't think it's a great big deal. I think if anything, you'll see the plan administrator possibly named. The deal's, it hasn't been unloaded to the public, so they're going to keep everything confidential. But the other aspect is BK Butterfly is really the new entity, not Bed Bath & Beyond. So to take a $50 fine, not even close, they've already named the CEO of BK Butterfly, right? So it's to me, it's not really a huge indicator of what's about to transpire. I think it's really just something that, because it's got a date and it's coming soon, we kind of get a little bit excited about, would we know more info? But honestly, we already have the info. DK Butterfly is the new subsidiary. The CEO is named, and we're starting to see boards of directors called in under the plan administrator. I mean, there's a lot in the works. So.
Right. Sorry, ABC, did you have to finish something?
I'm just saying, me personally, I don't think the CEO filing to disclose who the CEO is going to come out. you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that they're going to take this approach to like he's saying, like Regent's saying, is like they're going to take an approach of just taking a fine, because I think they're carefully calculating how they want to release this. And again, you know, the more I kind of think on it with like the plan administrator and like the, you know, this hiring of like, you know, 8 additional executives. I mean, this is very bizarre for a company that is essentially like, you know, a quote unquote shell at this point. So, real quick, let's go ahead and bring in Hey Ross, Ashen with the $2. I would trade Molly Sparkles for AMC shares. All right. Slobo with the 10. Sunglasses perpetually fall onto onto video game controllers. Proud face. All right, right on, Slobo. Appreciate the love. Philip with the 500 Canadian. Holy cow! Longtime holder of DK Butterfly and 100% DRS. GME. Willing to fly down from Canada and have a beverage with everyone and hopefully some other Canadians with great hair. Right on, Philip. We'll fucking see you then, man. I appreciate your support. All right, let's go ahead and welcome Hey Ross onto the show, man. So chat, give a warm welcome to Hey Ross. Ross, how the fuck you doing, man?
Good, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm good.
Good to see you, man. Yeah, we've been trying to get you on the show for a while now, man. How you been?
Busy.
Yeah, I believe it.
Work.
Yeah,
but good. Yeah.
Right on. Well, it's good to see you. I'm going to go ahead and read this Ryan Cohen tweet here, and then why don't we discuss a little bit about what's been going on? We'll catch up with Ross as well too. And all right, sounds good. So Ryan Cohen says, and this is tweeted during the ThePPShow as well, man. Like, wow. It says, the most important thing to remember is that inflation is not an act of God. That inflation is not a catastrophe of the elements or a disease that comes like the plague. Inflation is a policy. All right, interesting stuff. What do you fellas think? I mean, someone in the chat, MGIS, just said RC's watching. Maybe he is, you know. It's interesting we get this tweet during the show. Again, you know, he could watch it, he could not. What do you think, man? Hey, Ross, I mean, or anybody else who wants to add on to this, what do you fellas think about this tweet here? Do you think it means anything? What are your thoughts?
It tastes like, it sounds like he took his ice cream cone and made a dollar milkshake theory out of it. I mean, he's correct in pointing out inflation as a way for us to be able to keep dollar dominance. So, you know, I like, well, anyway, he and Larry Chang and a couple others have been going after kind of this belief that economic cycles are man-made, which is sort of obvious, right? And kind of as to whether there's natural cycles or whether policies drive this. And, you know, you can't run up several $1 trillion with a reverse repo and not pay for it. So I think, you know, it's a policy. We chose to do this.
Right. So what do you think has been happening, Ross? Like, you know, shares have been removed from people's brokerages. A lot of people have questions, you know, with what's going on. I mean, what do you think, Ross? I mean, it's been a while since we've seen you on the show. I know you typically say that, well, the ball's in the air and so forth, but expand a little bit upon that more. Let me hear it from your own mind. Like what you're thinking.
Okay. So, I mean, that's why I want to see what Jake's pulled up and stuff. And I've really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that Realize and, you know, Region Formal and other folks have done, and Edward Barnes and some other folks that have just kept at, like, finding evidence of continued activity. There's a lot of stuff I suspect, but, you know, I'm not, like, I got to be really clear. I'm on 60, 70 hours a week of work now, so I don't have a lot of time to spend reading this stuff. But when I see the evidence that I'm seeing looks like all the option cancellation and acceleration to the 20th, the recall and cancellation of shares and all those things are a way to sort of shut off the notion of any synthetics being a replacement or sort of a split or whatnot, because I still am on the, you know, the Estrella theory of he does something on a blockchain and reissues. It feels a lot like they're putting a just best case scenario. One number that says, hey, we think DTC says there's 780 million shares or whatever. But when you look at the actual float, when you take out, you know, what was outstanding, there's only 117 million. That's a stupid amount of short if that's actually true. So I remain optimistic that you keep seeing these things canceling all evidence of non-real shares. And I feel for people that did CFD. I'm not giving financial advice here at all.
Of course.
But it looks like they're also shutting down the CFDs, because I think you're going to see a couple threads. And okay, this is where I get into tinfoil land. So
yeah,
good
that's
hit there.
Very familiar with that one.
Right. So here's what I see is like you're going to have one track which is DRS, and that's like, okay, here's whatever replacement shares. Here they go, whatever ratio issuance or whatever.
Right.
Then you're going to have brokers that actually ensured they had settlements. Like Fidelity makes sure they settle in non-margin accounts because, I can see when it settles and all that other stuff. And I've never, ever, to their credit, had a problem DRSing anything that was in a non-margined account. It just immediately went.
Right.
So with that said, I think those guys are going to be like, hey, we're solvent and our customers still like us. You're going to have a bunch of folks who shorted and loaned shares and end up with some IOUs. That's going to be, shorty, pay me back. And if you can't, I've got a liquidity problem and I'm done.
Yeah.
And then there's the CFD crew, like, in Europe and other places like that, which I think is gearing up for what I would consider the world's largest tornado of international fiduciary lawsuits starting to come, where people are going to learn to read terms of service, but a whole bunch of other governments are going to step in and go, what the fuck? You can't actually rip people off like this. We're going to just take you to court over it. So, and I can see Europe, by the way, just having worked at Microsoft and having worked at other companies, the EU competition commissioner and the financial oversights over there, they don't F around.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a little bit of, fiduciary responsibility discussion that's coming over there for the CFD brokers, but not my problem.
Mike Hanza with the 5 says, hey, everyone, tonight is an extremely exciting episode because of the new RC tweet and exclusive Jake2B info. Right on, Mike. We loved having you on last night, man. Appreciate the support. Fresh on X with the 2. Does anyone on the PP show hold Toys R F, so Toys R Us, bought 11K? I personally don't, but I think a couple of the guys possibly do here. Control Chaos also with the 20. Travis, duct tape. All others channel your inner ABC and let Jake cook. T0 interruptions, please and thank you. Heavy hitters only.
No.
Wally, coach wants to see you. Bring your playbook.
I probably already know what he's going to say because I was looking at stuff today too, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So no, I brought it. I don't
think you need it. I think that just let the man cook, and we'll refrain from reading off any tips and memberships during that time. Don't worry.
I think we need to interrupt him a little bit so he doesn't go on a 24-minute rant where
he said he's going to top the last one. He's going to top it, man. So we'll see. Weisenhummer with the 2. PP, you asked for a sign yesterday from RC. That's fucking. You're correct, man. Wow, look at that, man. Weisen is on his fucking game tonight. You're right. Yesterday, I did say Ryan Cohen tweet something out. I did ask last night for him to tweet something out, but it's very interesting. He tweets it during the PP show, and I said, tweet something if we're fucking right, man, or something, or whatever the fuck. Go back and play the goddamn video, and you tell me it was something to that nature. So those of you who were there last night, yeah, maybe so. Watt DC with the 741. Spam cows if you're a Peruvian bull fan. We know Art, Ross, and RCR. Sword of Damocles. Love it. Right on, man. Appreciate the love, Watt DC. And also My Apple's Ripe Yolo with the membership. Right on. Yeah, go ahead, Ross.
Damocles. Just get the pronunciation right.
Oh, okay. Damocles. Got it. Like that, right, Ross?
Damocles was the mortal who was cursed by the gods to be under a sword suspended by a human hair.
Interesting.
Breaking and killing him.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So yes,
if you don't mind, I've got a quick question for Ross. I'm just
go ahead, Wally.
In your opinion on something with the recent options expiration, sort of the thesis or that my theory has been that while unnecessary, I had some options that were leaped out till next year. They were accelerated. They're no longer there. So that is a disappointment. But I can also, on the flip side of this, kind of infer some some bullishness if indeed the reason for it was that the outstanding options are really liabilities or could adjust the potential for deliverable shares in the future, based on future data. Go ahead.
So, again, I'm not the genius on this stuff. Other people wrote much better due diligence on it, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that exists on the original GME sub and on Superstonk about the use of paired long and long put and call options to create synthetic shares, and the sale of those call options allows them to be able to gamma hedge and create synthetic shares to offset the risk as a market maker, which may have been a source for a lot of the book entry shares, to use a accounting term as opposed to real shares. And so wiping out all those options also wipes out the existence of those synthetics and creates IOUs everywhere, at least in theory, as I understand it. But
correct. So we're aligned there. So that's one benefit of eliminating the options, is it prevents future dated options from serving as collateral for outstanding short positions potentially. But
right. So think of it this way, like two sides to this, Wally. There's the person who bought the call option, in which case you got fucked out of your upside and you probably should be pissed at it. The person call option to create the synthetic share, who now has a never-ending obligation. Like infinite obligation. So you lost a little bit of money. They're going to lose it all.
Sure. I guess the second part of my question was, because I remember hearing in the past that you are, sort of have held the opinion at some time that, blockchain share issuance may be a component of how we come out of this. And one thing that I was seeing, while, I would have loved to see stock go to infinity and me hold my contracts, that would be great. But now that the contracts are gone, wouldn't that help the company that's trying to issue equity in a new company and only issue a fixed amount and not have to deal with pair contracts, because the potential future shares would be a variable determined by future strike prices on every cascading Friday moving into the future. So do you see that there's any potential upside for the company? Do you think there's any bullishness in the removal of the options as a different motion than just how the shares work?
Yeah, beyond the synthetics, it also, if you go to a blockchain, the ability to use the tools they had to create synthetics goes away. So now you have the obligation, and the mechanism to settle the obligation that they had used to create it is gone. That's, pulling the ladder up from the tree top. They're done. Like, I don't know another way to say it, but you're on the right path, which is, I believe the removal of the options was a minor inconvenience for people betting as opposed to investing on the stock, which, to your deference, you were an option holder. So I think that's a really shitty thing to do to option holders to accelerate it. But I think it comes at the how to dismantle the market maker mechanism that allowed them to cheat. And that comes at a much higher value to me,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for your opinion. Appreciate it.
So we have something pulled up on the screen. ABC wanted us to pull up. ABC, why don't you walk us through why you want everyone to see this? Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, this was just posted yesterday, and another article came out today. But it's not main media that's presenting it. It's just NorthJersey.com, which is a small little reporting site. Byebye Baby's opening 4 new stores across New Jersey next month, and the website will return after later this month too, just in time for the holiday shopping season. And they're primarily 4 of them are in the New Jersey area, and there's also some Harmon stores that are reopening as well. I don't know if you want to read out the article, PP, or...
Yeah.
Yeah. He needs to continue his education on public speaking.
Yeah. Let me start here. So it says, Byebye Baby is opening 4 stores across New Jersey next month, and the website will return later this month, both in time for the holiday shopping season. The stores will be in Paramus, Cherry Hill, Bridgewater, and in Iceland. Is that how you say it? Iceland.
I don't know about the last one, but Paramus, you nailed it. That is the name of it. You hit
right
it
on.
I don't know about the Iceland one.
All right, Iceland. All right, Dream on Me Industries, which supplied cribs and strollers to Byebye Baby before the bankruptcy, bought the intellectual property of Byebye Baby for $15.5 million, court records show. It was formerly owned by union-based Bed Bath & Beyond, which announced its bankruptcy in April. Dream on Me Industries, based in Piscataway, also bought up 11 Byebye Baby leases for $1.17 million, said a report by CNBC. All 11 stores will be on the East Coast from Maryland to Massachusetts. That's very fucking interesting, man. Also, Jake just got here, so give me just a moment and we'll bring him in. The exact New Jersey Byebye locations are, and they're listed here. The stores are slated to open on November 18th. They'll feature an assortment of baby and maternal wellness brands. An announcement said, with the chain billing itself as a trusted fourth trimester partner. Now, this is highly interesting because, again, Dream on Me, where the fuck are they all of a sudden going to start training and hiring people and opening these stores? How the fuck's it going to happen? And then we have an email today from Byebye Baby, I believe, their support team or something. And the very interesting thing is that they don't say, oh, the company is owned by a private company. It says it's owned by private investors. That's a very interesting choice of words, in my opinion. Again, typically what you see is like, yeah, you know, the company's gone private. It's now owned by this private company, Dream on Me. But no, they say it's owned by private investors. That, to me, is a very big sign. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's bring in Jake2B, and we'll cover a little bit of that stuff too in just a moment. So chat, please give a warm welcome to Jake2B. Jake, how the fuck you doing tonight, man? It's great to see you.
Hey guys, good to see everybody. Wow, it's a full show tonight. How's everybody doing?
Right on. Yeah, we're good, man. You know, we're just hanging around, not doing too much. Again, just kind of discussing some things that are going on, man. So apparently you got something potentially big. Are you on the couch, Jake?
I'm on the couch.
Holy shit. All right. Might be a pretty big goddamn deal tonight, fellas. He's sitting on the couch. I was going to say something looks different. That plant is usually taller than you. So right on, man. Good to see you.
Hold on. Can we pause and talk about that intro?
Yeah. Is that the first time you've seen it?
Yeah. That was so much greatness. Oh my God. Like
that's Jake's intro. Yeah, yeah, that's what he was talking.
That music gets me going.
Yeah, that's some exciting. That's some doom music. All right, so Jake is on the fucking couch tonight. Right on. It's great to see you. There's a lot of stuff to get into. We want to give you the floor here tonight. Real quick, we did just get a $500 tip from Reginald Fernsby. PP, are we close, brother? See you in Florida, my mofo. Boss Ross, will you be there? I hope so. Reggie, aka human number 1090950364048. Right on, man. Appreciate your fucking support of the PP Show, man. Low frequency trader with the 5 looks like an episode of the PP Bunch or PP Wood Squares. All right. Let's give the floor to Jake for a bit. Jake, what do you have for us tonight? What are some of the things that you'd like to highlight for us?
Well, hey guys, let me say hi to the chat. Hi,
sure,
ABC.
Yeah.
Hi, PP. Hi, Sloppy. Hi, Jade. That's me. Hi, Michael. Hi, Travis. Hi, Ross. Hi, Wally. I said hi to the chat. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight.
We are, yeah. We're having a good time.
If you were in the middle of something, just go ahead and do your thing, and then I'll just take over when you're done. I don't want to interrupt or anything or be rude.
Sure. Yeah, of course. ABC was showing us a website there, and I was just reading it there for the chat. ABC, is there anything else that you wanted to expand upon that article there?
No, it's just we have a date for new store openings, which is really bullish. So November 18th, a bunch of Byebye Babies are opening. I saw another report where Harmon is reopening as well. So, I mean, the retail renaissance is coming back.
All right. Right on. Cool.
Right on.
All right. Yeah, right on. All right, Jake, take it away. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I thought that we would do something a little bit different tonight, and I wanted to do like a PP Show DD. So I've got something that I want to share with everybody that's just going to be for the stream tonight, if that's okay.
I'm sorry, Jake.
Without a write-up. So if anybody wants to get the info, they got to tune into the show.
Yeah, awesome.
Jake.
Travis, God damn it, you can't fucking Interrupt the man.
That didn't take long. That's a record.
I have to. As
all right,
is
perfect.
It was a test, and you passed, Jake.
Oh, it tore. What? I got
I
this.
love it.
I don't want to ruin this.
Don't, because you have a lot of hair on your face. That's going to be painful. Please don't.
Yeah, that might
Yes,
hurt.
I do this so I don't ruin your bit because I've ruined so many. I feel so bad.
My face may hurt for you.
All right.
You're good. You're good. Go ahead. Just
All right.
do your thing, bud.
Nobody interrupt this man or his hair. God damn you. All right, go ahead, Jake.
All right, so I want to go over a few things. So
yes,
if you don't mind, I may need to talk for a little while, and I'm sorry that if I kind of dominate the show for a little bit, but I just want to get the idea out because I'm afraid if I lose my train of thought, it'll all kind of get jumbled.
Right.
So I want to go over something. So
ABC, God damn you. All right, go ahead, Jake.
As of okay, so I have to modify this because of 10 or 15 minutes ago, more monthly operating reports came out. So let me communicate this in the way that it was 16 minutes ago. So interestingly, on the 23rd of October, we see the monthly operating reports come out, but they are made by the plan administrator. This is expected, but equally important because I want to note that the plan administrator, and I have since we're doing a live DD, I want to make sure that it's all well organized. So as early as, well early, but in docket 2160, I just want to go over point 4, which says that as of the effective date, the authority, power, and incumbency of the persons acting as managers, directors, and officers of the debtors shall be deemed to have resigned, and the plan administrator will replace all officers of each debtor. Then further, as of the board of the debtors on docket 2160, it basically says that there is no board and subject in all respects to the terms of the plan, the debtors shall be dissolved and the plan administrator shall act as the sole officer of the debtor with respect to its affairs. Okay. So I want to say that first because that's important for context about what I'm going to discuss. So the plan administrator comes out with some monthly operating reports, and there's a lot of great information in them, and I want to go over that because the first thing that I want to say is that dockets 25, 32, 33, and 34 have 3 of these monthly operating reports in succession. And up until, like I said, about 15 minutes ago, they were the only ones, but it doesn't really change anything about what I'm about to say. So for ease of communication, let's pretend they didn't happen. So docket 2532, it's called the monthly operating report for the month ending, and it is filed by Mr. Sandler on behalf of the plan administrator. So ever since September 29th, the plan administrator is in charge, right? Like we just said. Of these 3 monthly operating statements, one of them, which is Old Bed Bath, goes up until September 30th, which is for the full month, just like every other monthly operating report that has come from May until now. Number 2533 and 2534, both of those say monthly operating report for the month ending, and they state September 23rd. So September 23rd is not the end of the month, and so I did a lot of digging here, and one of the 2533 is for Byebye Baby, which is the first time we're seeing a monthly operating report for Byebye Baby. So I think that's very significant, and there is some communication within the numbers of that monthly operating report potentially that would have been the reason why they withheld it. But for the first time, we're seeing a monthly operating report for Baby. And side by side with it, we're seeing the monthly operating report for BBBYTF, LLC. Both of these, and only these, are month ending September 23rd. September 23rd is a Saturday. And September 21st, Bed Bath & Beyond became DK Butterfly. There's been a lot of language in the plan, in the confirmation hearing, and such and such and such afterwards about things occurring on business day. They're very specific about defining what a business day is. They're very specific that the effective date could not have occurred on any day other than a business day. So I deduced that they had used September 23rd, the Saturday, because it was after the last business day after they renamed to DK Butterfly. So we have BBBYTF and Baby, I believe, will be one new entity together. Because what other reason would there be that they would end their monthly operating report prematurely and at the same time? So that's conclusion one, or speculative conclusion one, that BBBYTF and Baby are becoming one of the new companies.
Okay.
And I say that because I do believe there will be more than one. So further to that, I will add that BBBYTF, and I do have to give some thanks for some of these findings, and I will do that at the end, just because I don't want to bounce all over the place. BBBYTF stands for Texas Foreign. Why is that important? Because I went on, it's called Open Gov US, which is like an American commercial registration website tracking thing. And it says that BBBYTF, Texas Foreign, has their address listed as 2900 South Valley Parkway in, I don't know if it's Louisville or Louisville, Texas, County of Denton. That address is very significant because that was Bed Bath & Beyond's e-commerce focused fulfillment center that with the lease, I believe, was signed in 2016 or 2018. But on July 18th, that lease was purchased from Bed Bath & Beyond by Flexport. Flexport gave Bed Bath & Beyond $500,000 to assume that lease. Now, what does that mean? I think because there was an objection from the landlord, I believe that BBBYTF is still listed as the leasing party, and they're subletting the lease to Flexport. Why do I say that? Because then there's another, a Texas state website that lets you analyze LLCs. And as of October 23rd, 2 days ago, BBBYTF is still active business status at that address. So BBBYTF, as of 2 days ago, is active at an address that Flexport is operating because they've purchased the lease from them. Okay. Why is that important? Because Flexport is doing a lot of business with what I suspect will be the new emerging entity with their e-commerce focus. Flexport also had been engaging on X with Tufel Hunden in a very open and communicative manner until I believe the lawyers got involved and then the tweets were deleted. Tufel had asked, "Hey, Ryan Peterson, what's going on with you and BBBY at this address?" And he said in response, "Well, maybe you're asking the wrong question." And so then he phrased the question in the opposite way. "What's BBBY doing with you at this address?" And then he gave those like looking double eyes that Bill does all the time. Then he blocks Tufel. Then he deletes those tweets. And then he completely changes his tune and starts mocking people and says, what's BBBYQ? Is it like he just starts acting completely differently, all within like 4 hours. So I think that's a little bit of nice little tinfoil sprinkled on top of the facts, which is always nice to do. But let me summarize this first little bit.
All right.
BBBYTF, and I'll get into the monthly operating report because that's where the most compelling pieces of information are. BBBYTF still exists, active status business. On July 18th, collected $500,000 from Flexport. Flexport moved into that facility, but BBBYTF still operates out of that facility, at least on paper, as of 2 days ago, in conjunction with Flexport. The monthly operating reports for BBBYTF are very odd because in September, when they end their reporting period on September 23rd, they have $318,000 in cash in that entity, which on its own is a bit of an interesting fact because if this company is liquidating and Class 6 creditors are projected with a 0 to 2.5% recovery, if there's any money left over in any of these subsidiaries, it should be liquidated to pay off the creditors. But it's not. It's being kept in these entities. But it gets way better than that because in September, BBBYTF has $318,000. But in May, they had negative $77 million. They were in the negative $77 million. In June, they paid off nearly 50 $49 million of that dollars. I mean, keep in mind, this is while they're already in bankruptcy. So any movement of cash has to be governed and regulated and monitored by the judge, has to be approved, right? Because the debtors themselves are not in control of the subsidiaries or the cash flow anymore, right? The court is. There's a $49 million injection of money into BBBYTF. The balance with the June monthly operating report is negative $28 million. Sorry, that's not $49 million. Yes, it is. In July, there's a further $11 million injection, and the balance is negative $17 million. In August, there's negative $2.5 million. In September, even though they cut off the last 8 days, there's a positive 318,000. So they went from negative 77 million to positive 318,000, all while they were in bankruptcy, under the purview of the supervision of the court. That money could have gone to creditors if this was a liquidation. It should have gone to creditors, right? It didn't. That money was used within this LLC from May till now, and it went from negative $77 million, like huge amount of money, to positive $318,000. Okay? But that's not it. Aside from that, in July, the BBBYTF subsidiary pays Lazard $160,000, which I don't know how they did when their balance was negative 17 million. I guess they have a lot of overdraft, but whatever. The point being, Lazard collected a payment or fee from this subsidiary for something. We can go back to the Lazard engagement letter and figure out what those somethings are. And I admit I haven't had enough time to do that, so I will. But there was something that Lazard facilitated that was, made them earn a payment. Now, before you state, well, this was for the Flexport lease takeover, I would say absolutely not. That's not possible, because Flexport gave the company $500,000, and $160,000 is 32% of that. There's no way that the judge is allowing Lazard to collect a 32% fee on a sale of a lease of a distribution and fulfillment center. There's just no way. So something happened that wasn't that in July that LLC was responsible for. That's another reason as to why I think they are surviving. So BBBYTF and Baby will together emerge as something. I state that because they both ended their monthly operating report on September 23rd, which means I believe that as of September 25th, the following Monday, they are a new combined entity. That is why the monthly operating report ends on September 23rd. Further than that, we know that the Texas tax authorities are giving way more stink in the court than any other state or jurisdiction or whatever in the entire country of the United States. We also know that there was a time when the Texas tax authorities decided to amalgamate into one unit, just to make the procedure more organized and more clear and easier to follow. They became one entity and called themselves the Texas tax authorities. Then docket 2304 came out, and the Texas tax authorities withdrew voluntarily a motion where they tried to compel the debtors to increase their reserves in how much they were saving for them, because they felt that the amount that was allocated as a reserve was insufficient to pay the tax bill. The bill, I believe, I'm going from memory, it was $2.8 million, and the company had way less than that. Without any other public knowledge or public filings in Kroll, suddenly the Texas tax authorities withdraw that motion. So you can conclude that they were satisfied, whether there was an out-of-court kind of consultation or something, a go-around, the company and the Texas tax authorities agreed to withdraw that motion, and that enough money was set aside. They were satisfied. At the same time, way more recently, in like docket in the 2500s, there's a new Texas tax authority, or there's like a smaller entity of some counties that are left over that are not satisfied and not happy, and they're still arguing with the company. One of the counties that is in this new Texas tax authorities is the county where this fulfillment center is located. So I believe the Texas tax authorities are cheesed because BBBYTF either utilized the NOLs to offset or eliminate that tax owing, or through working in conjunction with Flexport are maybe able to do some, accounting sorcery where they're maybe somehow pushing back that tax obligation, whatever. Or Baby entering as a new entity alongside BBBYTF. Now, I don't know tax law. Perhaps is somehow impacting those taxes owing. Now, Twofold, to his credit, pulled up the 2023 taxation of the Denton County for the fulfillment center, and they still list Bed Bath in October 2023. And I confirmed that in the dockets because the Texas tax authorities state that, yes, we acknowledge that we had given an estimate of tax owing to the company when we were submitting our claims before the bar date, because we don't conduct our taxation for the year until October. Funny enough, in October 2023, which is now, Twofold pulled up the taxation for that property, and BBBY is still listed as the entity that owes the tax on that fulfillment center. Why? I think that substantiates my idea that potentially Flexport is subletting, and that BBBYTF, or the new entity that now exists merged with Baby, is still the named leasing party on that fulfillment center. Regardless, that's a little bit speculative, and maybe
Sure.
not. Who cares? BBBYTF is still the entity that the Texas tax authorities are pursuing for the tax on that locale. And a open source government for the state of Texas website confirms that as of 2 days ago, BBBYTF is still active at that address. Okay, there's more. The other entity that we see for the first time, I can do this from memory, I don't need my phone. Baby releases their monthly operating report, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're sitting on $600,000 worth of cash as of September 23rd. So September 23rd, between the two of them, they're just over $1 million combined in liquid cash within those two entities that, guess what, did not go to creditors. That would be illegal if this was a liquidation, because that money would be owed to creditors. It was held. It was held back. It was kept by those entities. So again, let me just recap before I go into the next section. BBBYTF and Baby, I believe strongly, have become a new combined entity. Why? Because the monthly operating report ends on a Saturday before the end of the month, and it ends after the last business day when the company was renamed to DK Butterfly. Moving on. The monthly operating report for Bed Bath & Beyond, the old company, again, under the pretext that if this was a liquidation, every subsidiary and the parent company needs to liquidate to pay off creditors. Old Bed Bath is sitting on $47.5 million in liquid cash as of the date that they became DK Butterfly. They did not give that money to creditors. They did not submit that money towards a liquidation to pay off whatever. In liquid cash on September 30th, Old Bed Bath has $47.5 million.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let me just go into the last bit of what I wanted to say here. So, I just had a little declaration of the Flexport guy. The Flexport guy confirms that they're taking over this. The only other piece that I want to go over, because why do I want to substantiate that there's no liquidation, and why do I want to substantiate what I'm saying here? In docket 708 on page 24, it is very clear as soon as they establish the stalking horse procedures, the IP sales, yada, yada, yada for overstock from day one, and then also they do the same thing for the Baby IP sale with Dream on Me. There are what's called excluded assets, which again in liquidation does not make sense, because if you are liquidating the estate for the benefit of the creditors, you do not exclude anything because you are not maximizing the value of the estate to pay your creditors. So the fact that they are holding things back, that they are not giving the winner of the IP, means that the things they are holding back is staying with whatever entity remains after they've offloaded that IP. However, since they are retaining those assets and they are not selling them to maximize the value for the creditors, you can further substantiate that this is not a liquidation. So let me say, for the overstock one, it was very interesting because for Baby, one of the excluded things was trademarks. They did not give all the trademarks to Dream on Me. and they held back some trademarks. For Overstock, even though they gave them the website, they gave them the app, they gave them the membership rewards members, all this stuff, they also excluded trademarks, but I can't believe I didn't notice this sooner. 2.2b says that there are internet properties that are excluded. Despite giving them the website, the fonts, the imagery, whatever, the app,
Why is
there
that?
are internet properties that are excluded, and they outline that there are disclosure schedules that stipulate what is excluded and what is not. And with Dirty Vader, after 12 hours, neither of us has still been able to find any mention of a publicly laid out disclosure schedule. So I believe that is with the court under NDA, that they stipulate and specify what is being included and what is being excluded. The last thing I'll say, in docket 708, right after the excluded assets, they name shared assets. And it's funny because up until now, and up until today, we've been under the impression that the shared assets agreement, and Bears have been really pushing this, the shared asset agreement ended on September 30th, and that's why they had to rename to DK Butterfly. And there's not actually any sort of recovery for this company. They just renamed to DK Butterfly, random ass name, because they couldn't use Bed Bath & Beyond anymore. No. Because further to docket 2160, that stipulates how the plan administrator will operate the wind down debtors and operate the liquidating trust. The first words of the plan administrator's responsibility are subject to the sharing mechanism. So it says the plan administrator, subject to the sharing mechanism, will fund distributions under the plan, and then also with the vesting of the assets on and after the effective date, the plan administrator may utilize the debtors and the wind down debtors, acquire, dispose of property, and compromise or settle any claims, interests, or causes of action without any supervision or approval of the court and free of any restrictions of the bankruptcy code or bankruptcy rules. So the plan administrator did not start working until the effective date, and yet the plan administrator is bound by this sharing mechanism that we thought ended on September 30th, which we now know is false, because somehow the sharing mechanism itself governs what the plan administrator is and is not able to do. And I will just finish by adding that if you were listening to the court hearing on Tuesday, the plan administrator, though there is very compelling language throughout multiple dockets that he is the sole officer, that he gets to do things all by himself, that he makes decisions all by himself. In the court hearing, we learned that he hired and brought back 8 former directors from Old Bed Bath to help him manage his job.
That's correct.
And October 19th, he brought in 3 new attorneys into this case at his own request to help him conduct the actions and distributions of the debtors and the wind down debtors, funding distributions under the plan and otherwise as the debtors and wind down debtors shall distribute. Thank you.
Wow. Round of applause, man, for fucking Jake. Holy cow. What is Travis down there saying?
Now, let me just say before Travis starts, please, anything I've said, please disprove. That's really the reason why I presented this. I would love to be proven wrong on any of this. But there's a lot of, I guess so the one thing I didn't even focus on, Old Bed Bath, I believe will also emerge.
Do you?
Why else would they have $47.5 million in liquid cash in that parent entity? I believe Old Bed Bath will reemerge, exiting Chapter 11, and it's becoming more and more obvious that BBBYTF, which operates out of the fulfillment center that Flexport took over, and Baby will become a combined entity, or did on September 25, and will also emerge out of bankruptcy. Please prove any of that wrong.
Holy fucking cow, man. You know, wow. I bet a lot of people out there in the chat are probably blown away by this possible connection here. I mean, again, this is fucking potentially pretty serious, man, with what's happening and, all of these things. I'm going to let some of the fellas here, if Ross or anyone wants to expand upon that real quick, I'm just going to read these off. Booger from Nerds with the 5. For Jake, how many patients have died because you read all these dockets? Ha ha ha, just joking. For PP, apotia, alopecia, homunculus, rondinspin, and percodontitis. All right. How did I do? How did I do, fellas? We also got Towel Enthusiast with the 500. Holy shit, dude. Anon Peepee here. Love you in the show. The entire supporting cast, especially Jake, the amazing DD from everyone, and I especially love Towels and Towel Stocks. Thanks for everything you all do for the community. Most of us are silent, but we appreciate you the same. Hope to meet you IRL, Bill, one day. I'll be the one wearing a towel holding a dildo. Right on, dude. Hopefully we see you in fucking Miami, man. Right on.
Is there only going to be one person doing that? Or
all right. Let's get back to the serious stuff here. All right. So Jake proposes something potentially very serious here that needs to be analyzed. I'll go ahead and let Travis start. I'd like to hear from ABC, Ross, Jade, Wally, and Michael, however you guys want to do it. But Travis, why don't you start it off? Let's hear it.
Okay. Why'd you mute me?
I muted you and everyone else, including me. God damn it.
I hope somebody in the chat
pulled out the duct tape. I pulled out the duct tape. Yes. I muted myself.
Yes, but you can still make sounds by moving.
You violated my First Amendment rights there, dude.
You were moving too much. All right, just take it away. Let's hear it. Refute this shit. Let's go.
Oh, I got nothing.
Really?
Oh, come on.
You're sitting there the whole time throwing your goddamn hands up.
No,
you were waving your head
no the
whole
all my
time.
spoilings.
Sometimes he does that at the chat. It messed with me at first too.
All my spoilings, like I could have interjected.
We couldn't,
and I couldn't because somebody muted me.
Yeah, because he needed his monologue, man. It's like Romeo and Juliet. All right, I want to hear it.
All right. This one wasn't 24 minutes, and he could obviously hear us this time, so that's a bonus.
Yeah,
we're evolving.
All right, refute it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I want to know. What do you think?
I mean, spot on.
Thank you.
That's where.
All right.
That's where I was going. But I wanted to. I feel violated. I don't.
Sometimes we gotta let the man talk, man. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Ross,
all right, no, hold on. Real quick.
Go ahead, Travis.
Jake, that was awesome. That was amazing. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Chat. Most of that was me playing along and having a good time with y'all because yes, I was muted, but at the same time, like he went somewhere where I wasn't expecting. But once he said it, I was like, "Yo, he nailed it." So, yeah.
Thank you.
Right on.
Jake, if you were watching me on the screen, thanks for playing along. And chat, thank y'all for playing along because that was fun.
All right. Right on. Let's hear it from Ross. Ross, what are your thoughts going through your head with some of the stuff Jake has brought up here?
I thought it was a brilliant piece of DD. There's only one thing that's sticking out for me as being a little odd, which is on the you mentioned about $47 million being in the surviving entity of Bed Bath & Beyond. And the business part of my brain goes into what's the operating cash body you need to be able to do something. And it seems like the $47 million feels like I can hire attorneys and accounting firms and figure out how to incorporate nulls and other sort of accounting issues, but it doesn't feel like enough to bootstrap a warehouse, supercenter, logistics, ERP, all the stuff you got to do to run those things. So it doesn't feel like enough to do something that's going to be a public company. It just feels like enough to do something to help integrate some financial assets. I guess that's the only thing that's sticking out for me.
Well, can I get your expertise on something then? How do you weigh that against the idea that as of the date they have that cash, they are not supposed to exist, they're not supposed to do anything anymore, and they've become this DK butterfly for the purpose that they can't use the Bed Bath name anymore. And for all intents and purposes of the bear thesis, they are just going to crawl into a hole and stop existing. Why is that at $47.5 million and not zero?
Remember, I said I agree with all of your due diligence, except something sticking out for me about the 47 million. Meaning, I think it's going to require a pipe or some other sort of infusion of capital from a private investor above that 47 to really bootstrap, even
Parker
with the
has
assets
to,
they
Dan.
have remaining. It's going to take more. And that's just, there's got to be something else there, because if you went and said, I'm going to go create a national retail chain as a clicks and bricks type model, and I'm going to go take on Amazon, and I'm going to do it at $47 million, and I don't need a Series B. Okay, you just got laughed out of every VC, because that's just not going to happen. The minute you said bricks, it got expensive. Okay, could you do Chewy? Yeah, you can start with 10 and get another round of 50. You can get there, but can't do what we're supposing.
But wasn't that just the Texas part of it? Was the 40 whatever 6?
The TF thing was the Texas one. It's the other entity. I thought Jake was.
But they filed like 5 different ones, and that's why I knew that was significant when they filed one for Bed Bath, and then they filed another one for Byebye Baby. But then I was like confused when they started filing the other ones. But so there's like 5 total that filed. Right?
Well, no. So they filed
call out somebody in
Harmon.
chat. Hold New Zealand just said about a credit bid. And I think that's exactly it. I think you're going to see a credit bid combined with the assets in it to create. You have an operating entity. Okay, I'm going to be stupid here for a second, but pretend like it's a public entity, that they're shareholders, and you've passed the 500 limit that says you have to have a public registration, all the other stuff in the surviving entity. They wiped out the shareholders so they can operate without having to do any of those reports. Now you get a creditor bid that comes and goes, I'm going to inject a bunch of cash in addition to taking the entity there to preserve the nulls, and I'm just basically doing another funding exercise. But this is still the same operating entity. It has the same. Now, in order for me to preserve the nulls, I have to include the prior shareholders, but I need to be able to do this pipe without registrations and all the other stuff, which I can't do if there's, however many shareholders. But if this is now a closed entity and gone private, I don't need to file anything. I can do whatever sort of private.
Oh shit, we're losing Ross there. Ross, your connection's getting all fucked up. What were you going to say there, Jake?
That's bourbon.
Yeah, so I fully agree with what Ross is saying. I would only add that, of course, this is up until September 30th, and we're not expecting this company to be getting off the ground on September 30th, right? And so if there were to be an operating report that came up for October, maybe it would have what Ross is saying is required, or maybe this capital injection hasn't occurred as of September 30th because obviously they were waiting for the effective date, right? I mean, if the effective date occurred on September 29th and then September 30th is a Saturday, you really don't have an opportunity of even a business day to even have any sort of capital injection into this entity for however you want to operate it, right? So maybe we would see what Ross is describing as of the October operating report.
Sorry, Elon Musk is cutting my Starlink connection.
Yeah. What do you think, ABC, or anybody else that wants to jump on with this thesis here? What do you think about it, ABC?
I think it's certainly a key ingredient. I don't think we have to solve out where the revenue is going to come through, whether it be a credit bid, whether there's a leverage of the bonds in place as 2034s and 44s. There's lots of avenues to fill the coffers at this point in time, but I love the DD that you presented, Jake. I think it's really key. It really puts Flexport into the background in terms of the architecture and infrastructure that's needed. And if they are collaborating with a lease as such, you can kind of almost verify a stronger partnership now. So I love that. The next question for you, Jake, is why the fuck are you sitting on your couch tonight?
This was a PP request, so I did it.
I did. It's true. I saw a lot of people in the comments. They were like, someone was like, "I'll bet you $20 he's on his couch." I was like, "Jake, get on your fucking couch." I thought it'd be a perfect for tonight.
I promised that I wouldn't go on the couch until we had something to celebrate, but PP asked nicely, so I had to.
I mean, dude, I think this connection potentially, could be another piece to this giant puzzle. Again, someone pointed out that the Teddy books are fulfilled by Flexport as well. So, perhaps there very well could be something here. So, I'll go ahead and take it to Michael if he has some, if he wants to add something onto it. Let's hear it.
Oh, man, I just blanked out on. I think it's spot on. Well, I think also, Ross was just saying something about it going private. So I was going to ask, if our shares get turned to non-voting shares, does that count as it going private?
No, not really, because you still have an equity interest in it. So it's not really about your voting rights. But I just realized something. That look you saw on my face is not bourbon. That's me having an actual original thought.
All right.
So there's a part of this that says taking and wiping out the shareholders, recalling all the shares, canceling them, and then wiping out all the options and any potential synthetic interest really does take the entity out of any sort of public regulation, which, I keep going back to why has the SEC got an interest here and why did they call out the right for the SEC to adjudicate what's happening, which means they have an intention of being back in the public market. And so there's a part of this to preserve the nulls. They've got to be able to carry along the prior shareholders. So I have a feeling there's a creditor bid that's going to go on. Then there's going to be a issuance of new equity to include prior shareholders. And that's not just hopium. That's part of keeping the nulls intact. But I got to immediately think that, especially if this is tokenized and available on a DEX platform, this is the GameStop play on steroids, which is a secondary offering. But because I'm on a DEX platform and I'm offering it as a coin instead of offering it as a tokenized share, I don't have to do a shelf registration or any other S4s before offering it. I can just issue this as a new, here it is. Here's your crypto token. And so this may be a way for them to be able to raise billions by basically squeezing the shit out of Wall Street. And instead of raising 100 or a billion the way GameStop did, let's go raise 40 and then take Amazon on with a juggernaut. But given an infinite squeeze, I can't forget the fact that it's not just shareholders who participate, that if this thing is truly private, a secondary public offering, it may have completely different depending on how they do it. It could get really, really fast. Like, this isn't going to be in 90 days we'll do an offering. This is, hey, by the way, we're reissuing shares, and in tomorrow we're going to also have a secondary offering available on the DEX platform.
Jesus Christ.
So, right. That would be immediate.
Yeah, right.
And how much money would they raise as a company as a war chest? It'd be stupid.
Yeah, someone actually tipped and they actually had a question, but I wanted Michael to maybe ask first, unless you wanted anything to add there, Michael, before I ask.
Yeah, also, I was going to say, so how does that work? You kind of started to allude to or talk about it. I had a question of, if they're moving to blockchain and it's way oversold, how do they transfer from this this infinite ledger of IOUs onto a finite ledger of
That's
blockchain?
what the recall is for. You recall because you basically tell your register agent, your registry, your transfer agent, you tell them, hey, I need to get a list of everybody who owns shares. How much does the DTCC have, Seed & Co.? How much is direct registered? How much is sitting in brokerages with in the street name, but it's actually nominally claimed like a Fidelity or Vanguard does versus the CFD guys? Get a list of all the shareholders, and then, hey, we now have it all. It just becomes I can just issue you a new wallet and send you an email that says, or a letter to your house that says, here's how you claim your wallet. I've distributed the shares.
So do you think the 780 is actually how many, even the borrowed and everything, are out there?
I think that's how many they think are out there. I think there's only going to be 117 million tokens.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
That's me.
But even that, right? How they convert 780 down to 117? Like, would they just hand them out preferentially to certain people, or
it's however many on the AST list? I've got one sitting there is 1.1 million shares, and I got 250 sitting at Fidelity. So I'm expecting to get an email from some new transfer agent as a blockchain or whatever going, hey, here's how you claim your wallet. Here's your login identity. It's the secret password you had before. We'll send the password through your email address or your phone we had on record. Here's how you log into it. Now you're into it. Now, Is that in a brokerage? No. If they do it on a blockchain, it's going to be a wallet or something, because that's
right. But what I mean is like if each share is a non-fungible token, right? There's only one, so they couldn't hand them all out at the same time because there isn't enough.
Because
Ross,
that's what we were talking about
all the
last
people
night.
All the people who legitimately have shares that correlate to a real share will get a token. All the folks who have synthetic shares have bought shares that were borrowed from someone else who now thinks they should get it. It's whatever the rights holder is on it. So you're correctly on it, right, Michael, which is if there's only 117, there's 780 people who think they have it, only 117 people get it, and everyone out there says, I'm going to sue you into the ground unless you supply this to me, the price goes infinite.
Yes, I think Michael's question is, how do you reconcile the difference in numbers between how many are available and how many people are expecting? And I would agree with you that the answer to that question is really price discovery, because once you're at the point that you have the new equity on the new market or whatever, token, coin, whatever, you go out and buy it to deliver it, right? Because
there would have to be on a certain time frame, right? Let's say that like
that's the SEC rule. You have 90 days. You have 90 days to fulfill.
90 days?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that's something we were discussing last night.
And don't forget, guys, on T0, they can't put you onto this blockchain, even though it'll still probably run through your broker, but you got a crypto wallet in the back end for the currency aspect to it. They cannot onboard a company that's already on the exchange. It has to be a new IPO type of offering or a new company. So the only way to do it is to force close all the shares on the old company, get a complete ledger of who owns what, and then because you're setting up a new subsidiary or a new company, that's how you get onto T0. All brokers are giving us a different story because they have no instruction. It's just a forced recall. What the fuck's going on? But that process has to happen in order to get onto that blockchain, because T0, it would take forever to onboard by calling the DTC and say, give me your shares and everything. They would delay it for months and months and months. But a forced recall, they get a ledger of everything. Okay, so-and-so, this SIM number owns this, and we duplicate on the other end.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to go ahead and read these off, and then because there was a couple questions in there, I think for Jake and also Ross. So let me just read off a couple of these tips here. Why So Serious with the 5 says, why is the show Wally Buck fucked on here? Shouldn't he be singing Platinum's D? Didn't at Corey and Citizen already sweep this dude off the stream? All right, you heard it from Why So Serious. Where are we? All right, Shane Hurley with the 5. Where's Plur's Cow DD? That's a great fucking question, man. We don't know where Plur's at. If you've seen Plur, let PP know he's looking for him. Craigle with the 5. Lots of drop shipping going on in the Bed Bath website. Noriko with the 5. Question to Ross: if that all is happening, that mean the start all new but without old shares? So old shares are out or no? Is a question. Real quick, if you can answer that from Noriko, and then I got a follow up one from Moonman for you, Ross.
Okay, so the answer is on 2 levels. I don't know. There's one answer, which is I don't know. Now, my guess, that's why they pulled the register. There's a whole thing about how many people own more than 4.5, don't let them buy any more. That's a little bit of, I want to freeze my significant movers to make sure that I don't have any actors changing the cap table while I go and get a list of small shareholders and DTC holdings and all that other stuff. There's a reason they froze major shareholders. And the 4.5 is interesting because above 5, you have to start showing up in the SEC radar. So they were just on this threshold of who's almost at that ice freezing line of SEC reportable. I thought that was the most interesting thing I've never seen in a bankruptcy them freeze the actions of minority shareholders that weren't already on the SEC tracking list. That's still the weirdest thing to me. So,
right.
Me too.
Okay.
I think they have a list already.
Yeah. And then Moonman with the 5, Terasa, why not sell shares of a new entity into a squeeze and use that to strengthen war coffers, i.e. heavily shorted companies as a resource? What are your thoughts there?
That's exactly what I'm suspecting will happen, but it'll be, hey, here's a new entitlement, but it's not a brand new IPO as in, hey, who's got money, come buy it, let's get an underwriter, get this thing sold.
Right.
I think here's an issuance of a token-backed share given to shareholders of the prior company to preserve the nulls, as Jake has pointed out many times, to pull that along. And as a result, you end up having a new set of same set of shareholders with a new security, a non-fungible security that can't be synthetic or created out of and can't also be shorted without permission, a bunch of other benefits on it. And then you all of a sudden have people who are like, hey, wait a minute, I'm supposed to have some of those in my account.
Right.
WTF, where are they? Go get them. Now you start getting calls to compliance officers and lawsuits, and people very quickly fail, and it rolls back to their backing bank who backed their trades, and it becomes start liquidating shit and buying it.
Right.
You see who's got time in hands.
All right. XYZ with the $1. Appreciate the love, XYZ. And Low Frequency Trader with the 5. FINRA forced all brokers to either deliver turn in shares or a letter of indemnity. They're double on the hook. All right. Right on. All right. We have Wally Buck wanted to ask, I think, Jake something. So Jake or Wally Buck, go ahead, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. And Jake, great research, man. Thanks for sharing that and putting all the time and effort into everything that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Just really, really happy to have my brain wrinkle a little bit more after trying to keep up with what you were saying. I took some notes while you were talking, so I was hoping to be able to just sort of share some of these notes so I can kind of condense and consolidate and confirm my understanding and maybe our understanding of what you were trying to communicate. PP, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let's see it.
All right, let's go. So, let's see. That's not sharing.
No worries. It's backstage right now, so just let me know when you have the screen up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the screen is up.
All right, I'll go ahead and share it now. All right, everybody can see it.
That freaked me out for a second. I've got things on other monitors. So, perfect. Just want to run through these. So this is sort of a combination of findings and conclusions, and haven't really structured yet, but just kind of want to work top to bottom. So you gave some great arguments for in your findings that BBBYTF, the Texas foreign entity, and DK Butterfly, they filed 2 days prior to the filing requirement, and for that and other reasons that leads you to believe that those two entities have combined and will represent one of the potentially two parties that will be successor entities and maybe a butterfly type transaction. Is that an accurate representation of the first part of your point?
Almost. So BBBYTF and Baby, and Byebye Baby, not Butterfly.
Okay.
BBBYTF and Byebye Baby submitted these monthly operating reports 2 days after Bed Bath & Beyond became DK Butterfly. So DK Butterfly happened on September 21, and we know in a lot of the bankruptcy language, business days are the only times which, they can do things here. So it was strategic that they filed the MOR on a Saturday, because that not counting as a business day gave them the opportunity to, hey, here we're closing the accounting books for Baby and for TF, and we're opening them on Monday as a new entity. So this should say that BBBY, Texas Foreign, and Byebye Baby filed MORs 2 days after Bed Bath became DK Butterfly. Then the second point would be that I believe that Baby and TF combined to become one new entity that will emerge, and yes, of two potentially emerging businesses as successor entities at the end of Chapter 11.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. That makes more sense as I work down the list, because then that opens it up to what the other potential successor entity would be, which would be the DK Butterfly entity.
Yeah, no, and this is great because this gives everybody an opportunity to go over it again, right? Like that. So the other thing I would say is, the thing that I was thinking at first was DK Butterfly is either Byebye Baby and TF, or DK Butterfly is going to be old Bed Bath. But once I got into it more, I realized that DK Butterfly is going to be old Bed Bath, and Byebye Baby and BBBYTF is going to be the second potentially emerging company. And we noticed that, I found it quite odd that Overstock paid $21.5 million for a name that they didn't even end up using. So they're just going to be Beyond, right? Inc. instead of Bed Bath & Beyond.
So that is confirmed. They are going to be Beyond Inc.
Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah.
So then what about the Bed Bath & Beyond website? It's going to become Beyond.
It's just called beyond.com.
Wow.
They're not even using Bed Bath & Beyond. And the best part is that their ticker, when they go to the NYSE, is going to be BYON, right? So BBBY, Byebye Baby, right, is open if, however they want to do this, maybe old Bed Bath gives the ticker to BBBYTF and Baby, whatever, it doesn't even matter. But like the door is open that the BBBY ticker can survive if one of these two potential successor entities wanted to maintain it. But yeah, just for Wally Buck's point, it would be TF, which I guess I didn't really make the distinction and clarification to say that this fulfillment center is in Texas, and so is GameStop headquarters.
It's someone had tracked it. I think it's like 20 minutes to the headquarters.
Yeah, and the best part is that this is an arm's length transaction for Ryan Cohen that would prevent an antitrust situation for him, right? Because a lot of folks had speculated that it is impossible for Ryan Cohen to acquire Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever elements of it because there would be an antitrust thing, which I really didn't know what the basis or substantiation of that was, or how GameStop would qualify that antitrust situation to emerge. But this is an arm's length transaction again, with this TF subsidiary and Baby, that it would allow him to come in later or do this. So, but yeah, so just to clarify point one, it was TF and Baby, and they filed these MORs the first non-business day after the new company was formed. Would be the better way to write that.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
And then I can't see the screen for the other two.
Yeah, no, you're good. I think Ross wanted to jump in here. Go ahead, Ross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just finally catching up because I was drinking and fucking around in chat. But I was reading the tweet that Ryan Cohen put out where it talks about inflation. I completely missed who the quote was from. Ludwig von Mises is a classic libertarian economist. Forget the quote. It's who said it. Who said it is one of the guys who argues for absolutely free decentralized markets. It's a dog whistle for a decentralized exchange. Aha. I didn't notice who he was quoting. I just heard the quote.
Okay, that's interesting.
As a school of thought, this economist doesn't believe there should be people who hold intermediary shares. They believe it should be direct exchange. Think decentralized, not centralized.
Yeah, and the whole magic of this is you can only get on this decentralized by being private. You can't be a current public company. So you have to kind of close shop, sell off all the assets as placeholders possibly, bring it all back in as a private entity, so to speak, and then launch. And it's like a trust me, bro. Here's your new equity, guys.
Well, trust math, not me, but yeah. Sorry for the interruption, but that economist is a little bit like, quoting Marx and not expecting it to be related to, planned economies, or quoting, Keynesian economists and not planning to be central. Right. It's like that. Who that economist is was really important.
Yeah, real quick on that, Ross. It's almost like there's something that's coming through in some of Ryan Cohen's inflation-related tweets is almost like the dichotomy of thought between like Austrian economics and Keynesian economics, and it being more on the pro-Austrian side of the house. So don't want to go down that right now.
There's a theory in inflation that basically says any central exchange authority, because it has to survive off the transaction cost, creates inflation with the velocity of money. The more trading there is, because there's a VIG on every trade, there's more of an inflationary effect, because prices on I buy it, I sell it again, it has to go up or I lost money. So for there to be effective trading, the middleman has to take money. That in itself is an inflationary act designed into the system. And in a decentralized model, it's only the perceived gain or neutrality between two buyers that drives inflation. Mm-hmm. And so decentralized models may fundamentally be what he's addressing here on the effect of inflation being designed into the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no middleman.
Yeah. So I completely missed the Ludwig comment though. That's like hearing, oh, he's quoting Elvis. Oh shit, it's a rock. It's like getting to the core of rock.
Yeah, that was my fault for not saying who it was. I should have said it was Ludwig. So Travis,
household name. It's like
Yeah, I should have said it anyways. Travis, can we get that Kevin Post Malone up, or Kevin Malone post up to take a look at? I think something we may want to take a quick peek at. And
is it on Reddit or Twitter? Sorry.
Yes, it's on Reddit, and it should be sorted by new. Crushed Orchid with the 10. Appreciate the love, Crushed Orchid. And then we also got Nariko with the 5. Again, question: How should people in normal brokers get their new shares or tokens, especially when brokers told them that their Bed Bath shares were sold? Well, a lot of these brokers, I think, that's essentially everyone's kind of guessing, Noriko. But the thing is that a lot of these fucking brokers as well have stated that, if something does happen, they'll honor that, that you have your shares in your account. So I'm not too worried about what the brokers are kind of reiterating, because to the brokers, they're essentially treating it like, okay, well, this is like some form of liquidation. But the problem with what the brokers are doing is they're not supposed to be removing these shares out of people's accounts. Again, there's a lot of people who are still holding stocks from like 15 fucking years ago of companies that haven't even fucking traded in God knows how long, and they're worth 0.0001. They're still there. The shares are there and everything. So something here doesn't add up. Crush Orchid with the 10. We will make it, everyone. Do you think that the plan administrator wants to defend a class action against this group of degens? Right on. You heard it from Controlled. All right, let's take a look at that. Yes, go ahead, Jake.
Sorry, PP. Can I just say something, if you don't mind, before we get into this? Because I do have to go.
Sure.
I just wanted to give a little summary, if you don't mind. And I'm sorry I have to go so quick, but I've got a little one crying upstairs.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
A couple things that I want people to look into. Please give me an explanation for why BBBYTF subsidiary went from a balance of negative $77 million to a positive $318,000 over the course of bankruptcy, and how the judge would have approved that much of a cash inflow into that subsidiary if it was not emerging. Again, the idea that BBBYTF and Baby, BBBYTF being registered in Texas at the Flexport address, I think is very interesting. And the MOR, the monthly operating report ending on September 23rd, indicates to me that September 25th, it became a new corporate entity. I would love to have that disproved, please. The other thing was, Ross had talked about it a little bit, but why is Old Bed Bath not at $0 cash on September 30th after the effective date? It in fact has $47.5 million. Since I came on, or like a couple minutes before I came on, I mentioned that a couple other monthly operating reports came out. The majority of them were for Harmon locations. All of them are at 0. Notably, the last one was Liberty Procurement, and it is not at 0. And as of September 30th, it has cash left sitting in it. So I do wonder if it will somehow be involved in something, in an emerging entity. That remains to be seen. So I would encourage people to look at that. And lastly, I would just say thank you. Thanks everybody for listening. I really like doing the live DD. Like I said, I won't be posting about this. This was just for the show. So please tell everybody to watch the PP Show every day. And
right on. Love the plug, man. Fuck yeah, Jake. Love it.
So thank you guys, everyone on the screen, and thank you to everybody in the chat. Love you guys, and we'll chat soon.
All right, right on. You heard it from Jake2B. Chat, let's get some fucking love in the chat for Jake on his way out. Jake, enjoy the rest of the night. Appreciate having you on, man.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Wow. Fantastic, man. Jake really had some good shit to share. And again, I think a lot of people should be having these questions. What is Bed Bath TF?
So PP, I'm gonna let you know up front, I will share this. I do have some obligations. I have 2 teams in my life. I have my A team and I have my team 1. Y'all are my A team, and I got team number 1 over here with me tonight. So he just came to me and said he wants some snuggles, so I can share this. I might have to go early, but let's get through this, and I might have to bounce, unfortunately.
No worries. Yeah. No, of course, man. Life comes first. So if you need to leave, just let us know there.
That's my number 1.
Cool. Right on.
Y'all are still my A team. Don't worry.
Right on. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, man. Right on.
You're not anymore. I unfriended you because you muted me. You muted me.
I had to. You were moving too much with the duct tape. What do you want me to say, man?
I unfriend you.
Dominic with the 5. Von Mrs. Brother was a baller in math stats and physics. Fun PP fact. All right, right on, Dominic. Appreciate the love. Control Chaos with the 5. Can we get a poll? Does Wally drive a van or an ice cream truck? All right, you heard it from Chaos. All right, let's pull up this DD here. Let's take a look at it. Is there any way we can zoom in here, Travis, and see what Kevin Malone has for us tonight? So let's see.
Chats are killing me. It's girlfriend, not wife. I'm planning to go away soon. I have obligations with the kid, but yeah,
sure.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Can we zoom in?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
Deb says you did good, PP. Right on. I think so too. All right. So this is from Kevin Malone. All right. Everyone's staying jacked since yesterday. I'm jacked to the tits. I didn't want to leave you all hanging dry today. I got back to service from my elk hunt after the SEI offices had already closed for the day. I have unconfirmed news from a client today again to keep your load on edge. It says the second guy I talked to yesterday told me they were merging with Overstock. I was like, no, Overstock just bought the IP. But then after the call, I was like, shit, was he right? I promise I will call tomorrow and record the call. All right. So this just seems like the same shit that the brokers are basically telling people, where they're like, oh, yeah, Overstock is merging with, because we've heard it before with a certain brokerage. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, they've merged with Overstock. And then someone will say, well, no, that's not true because the IP was just sold. And so it seems like a lot of these brokers don't really know what's going on.
I don't see that though.
I
think that's the. You think Overstock bought the IP, started using it right away, is changing to BYON as a ticker, and they're just going to leave BBBY ticker for in Byebye.
I mean, they've been dying to use T0, and it would be a perfect opportunity to be like, oh, we're buying it, but we're putting it on T0. Also, it would. I don't know if there's a backdoor way of if they're like, oh, we're doing cash plus equity, and so, but it's going on the exchange. So I don't know.
So
I don't know if they would have a way
of
sneaking themselves on there.
Go ahead, PP.
I was just going to say, Allbiz says they are not changing their name, only the corporate name to Beyond.
Yeah, but they're also changing their ticker. But here's the thing. Michael might be right. What if they merged and then spun off Byebye Baby, and now the BBBY ticker is available just for Byebye Baby? That's plausible.
Yeah,
very.
But then it would already be.
I'm putting my money on 6th Street and Hudson Bay.
But if they
still holding position,
I would. If
Overstock took it first and then it was on the exchange and then spun off Baby, then that would mean Baby was also already on the exchange as well.
Okay, so the problem in all these theories is there is a fiduciary duty to an arm's length transaction in negotiating any of these things. And what we start presuming of these stalking horse buyers are buying stuff but have already arranged in advance with the dip. Like, you've got to have enough corporate shields between peoples and enough arm lengths. Otherwise, we're in lawsuit heaven for years.
Mm-hmm.
Ross is right. I just don't know how that happens without it being immediate. I object. Stop everything and let's spend 10 years before the squeeze happens.
Right.
Like, I got to imagine if the real thing here is an icon, Ryan Cohen trap, like, that's not going to be a slowly sprung over 10 years in court, right?
Yeah, they're just going to lay their dicks down on the table. And Ross, do you think every day that goes by, it's more and more likely that it's probably going to be a credit bid that we see via 6th Street? You think that's how this is going to unfold? That's how I kind of feel approaching it too.
Like, what is 6th Street's business? Lending money and getting it back.
Yeah. I can't see them like burning this much money just like to be like, yeah, let JPM fucking walk away from the deal. We'll hold all this fucking shit to zero as well. And it's questionable like who was holding like 8 million in warrants that also converted right before we could no longer like buy the stock anymore. And now all of a sudden that person, they, warrant holders, they were being paid out according to the plan. So it really makes absolutely no sense. Whoever is holding 8 million in warrants would convert them to common, So again, it's just very to me it's very telling.
I keep reminded of the old movie quote about, son, you've gone so far around stupid, you're back to clever. Like I can't suss out some of these things, but it's like it's aiming that way, which is there's something really, really convoluted going on here. There's way too much energy in the system for a bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
I think you're right.
I agree because somebody converted even 180 preferred shares to common stock when they could have taken the guaranteed 15% gains.
That's what I'm
the stock
saying.
price was. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you take the common shares knowing it's going into cancellation when you could have taken a guaranteed 15% gain on whatever it was at the time? Like, makes no sense.
Yeah, shows never talk about that, like there's like, oh, the person's probably just an idiot. It's like, well, let's think critically. Why the fuck would someone with this much money, piss it away like that? I don't buy it. Especially like Sixth Street. You're right. Like they're not going to lend out this much money just for it to go to zero. I don't buy it. What do you see with the two?
Can we talk about Sixth Street?
They don't take risks like this. This is somebody is backstopping Sixth Street in a big way. They're a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and can we talk about? Yeah.
Let's get into it. Let me just read these because they're going to disappear. Watt DC with the 2. Ticker doesn't matter. Follow the Q-Sip right on, man. Appreciate the love. And Iwi Williams with the 5. SEC 147 and 147A for in-state and out-of-state sales of securities, which leads to section section 741, chapter liquidation of brokerages. Boom. Iwi. From Moon. Right on, man. Appreciate the love. Let's talk about Sixth Street for a second. I think it's very crucial we talk about Sixth Street because this is a very serious thing, in my opinion. You're right. Sixth Street doesn't loan hundreds of millions of fucking dollars to piss it away at the end of the day and go to zero. Travis, take it away for us. Let's build upon Sixth Street for a little bit. Let's hear it.
So let's start with Sixth Street's average returns. 10 to 12%.
Mm-hmm.
They're leading the market in these types of deals. That's where they begin. I mean, that's the synopsis of who they are, what they do. They fund money from all types of individuals or in different parties, whether it's retirement funds, whether it's individuals and everything, and they pool money into different funds.
Mm-hmm.
They then use these funds to make investments where their average return, the average return is 10 to 12%. And that is documented in all of their filings and everything. You can go look at all of their filings. I mean, that's their average return. They're not going to spend $250 million on something that they're not going to make a return on. They're not going to do it. Now, yes, there are different funds that have different risks. Some funds can absolutely just invest in public companies and buy the stock. And other funds are more direct. And TSLX has a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? A certain investment opportunity where you can direct your funds directly into an investment. We know that. Talents, we're unsure. But 10 to 12% is their average return. They're not going to put money into this to begin with unless they know that they're going to guarantee their 10 to 12%. They don't do that. It's not their money. I think that a credit bid is still on the table. I think that credit bid will yield certain returns for Sixth Street. I think that it is almost a requirement for them at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they've known about this for more than a year.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. There's just too much at play here, especially with 6th
this
Street.
is too weird. Like it's like it's over 240 million that they're like getting nothing based off what?
Call it a $250 million.
so
It might as well
interest rates are stupid right now. So assume like their interest rates are usurious, right? Do
Yeah.
you think they're going to get paid in cash, or do you think if there's a secondary, that what they're really going to get is here's your cash back plus here's the interest and risk premiums and other stuff in equity that you can sell into the squeeze? Which would you take if you're 6th Street? I would take that. I would get my capital back so you can turn it into the fund, and immediately take I'm going to sell this into the squeeze and participate in the equity. Now, if I'm the person who's asking 6th Street to do this, what's my risk here? I just got a 0 interest loan and had the people who shorted the shit out of this thing pay for it. That smells like, smell that smell? That smells like sweet justice.
It does. It honestly does. Real quick, Keenan with the 279. Can I get a yeehaw? There you have it. We also got Skirts with the 20. Great show, guys. What are we expecting with the reveal of the stalking horse in the next hearing? How does it relate to what you are talking about now, Ross? Maybe. Ross, any comments on that comment there?
Oh, I have no fucking clue. I mean, I can't wait to see this one. This is one where I'm like,
same.
This is Bravo TV. Like, I'm waiting for the big reveal. Like, oh my God, Caitlyn's Bruce Jenner or something like that. You know?
Right.
I don't know. I got to imagine there's some element here of like, was everything arm's length? Was everything, on the up and up? I can't wait to see it. That's the short answer. I don't know.
Cool. Right on. Crushed Orchid with the 10. 6th Street said in their last earnings announcement, they expected 15 to 16 points on this investment. Now that is very interesting. We also got, actually that was the last tip there. What do you think about that?
It's a big return in this economy.
I think they're gonna get a lot more than 15 or 16% if they participate in the equity.
Now, this is I want to parse that statement for a second. Was that a 6th Street making a statement about impact to their bottom line or impact on this deal?
Yes. Oh, they couldn't disclose. They basically said in their earnings call, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
But they did say it was going to be very volatile.
Yes.
And so that gives you the indication that they're probably in this for the long game too. Just like the bondholders. Like think about the 2034 and the 2044 bondholders. They're convertible. They can actually convert those bonds for shares and ride this wave up too. There's so many ways that they can stock their bank account and ride this and literally make the shorts pay for this entire journey.
Wow.
So I had a theory, and it's complete, theory here.
Let's hear it.
What if majority of the bondholders convert, and the ones that voted against don't? And
let's call him JP Morgan. I don't know.
That's what?
Let's just call him JP Morgan. Whatever.
Okay. That's fine. Call it.
It's only the 2024s that can't convert, eh? All the 34 and 44s can.
Right. Yeah. And so let's say I won't even say JP Morgan. Let's say it's Jake Freeman on the 2024s. Just hypothetically, let's have some fun. And Icon, RC, somebody owns the 2034s, 2044s. They convert that along with the credit bid through 6th Street to do a credit bid, and they convert all that debt to equity, leaving the 2024 is kind of out to dry. Like, yo, you had your chance. You voted against this. You're going to get your interest rate instead of this crazy, amazing return. Leave them hanging out to dry. You try to F us, we're going to F you back. Is it plausible? Sure. Would it be a fantastic finale? Absolutely. I mean, you try to screw the deal, so we're going to screw you back. You don't want to convert. That's fine. We'll leave you hanging out. We'll leave these due in 2024 because we're going to skyrocket with a credit bid, do an equity offering. We're going to do 50,000 shares because that's all it's going to take to cover what it takes to pay you off. I mean, it's plausible.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is possible at this point in time. There's a lot at stake here, and I might have to bounce.
No worries.
We got to see the baby
sorry.
now.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I think there's an opportunity here to do a lot of crazy things, a lot of very interesting business tactics, a lot of different interesting business developments. I see it. I think a lot of things can be done. I'm getting the signal. I'm sorry. I gotta
No worries, man.
I'm trying to wrap up, and I'm trying to signal, but
sure. Give us some closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. I mean, I'm right where I want to be. Ross, thank you for joining. If Jake bounced, but yeah, I'm right where I want to be. I'm still in this. I mean, I can't sell.
No, you can't.
So let's have some fun over the next few days, few weeks. We'll see where this goes.
Cool.
And yeah, to everybody, thanks for joining. Chat earlier, I was kind of trolling a little bit again with the whole Jake thing. I didn't really have anything that I could interject. I didn't know where he was going with it tonight, but I did have fun with y'all, and thank y'all for having fun with me. And to everybody on, Wally, Michael, ABC, Ross, PP, of course. Thank you, and good night.
Cool. Take care, Travis. Let's get some love in the chat for Travis on his way out. See ya. All right, you heard it from Travis. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, especially like what Jake has kind of pieced here together. What everybody has kind of pieced over time is just it's this big, confusing puzzle, in my opinion. I don't think it's just black and white. This company's essentially bankrupt, so, whatever it may be. A lot of these brokers have said, if something does happen in terms of equity, they have a record of our shares. So, that's why I'm not too worried about it. And especially, depending on like which broker you're with, I'd be a little bit worried if like I had shares like on Cash App, for instance. But even then, I think even people like on Cash App that have some shares would probably be fine too. So, it's just really interesting.
It's a little bit one of those things. I'm reminded of the old Tom Segura joke about like when they stopped trading on the OTC. It was like, you want to go on the ride of a lifetime? Well, you're coming.
Yeah.
Like, we're in now. Like, I don't understand the shills that come on with like, you should have sell. I'm like, balls in the air. Like, to
right.
whom? You? Okay, $100 a share. Let's go.
Yeah. They're pretty worried about people's money. We got a Control Chaos with the 2. Trust the process. And that's in quotations, Pulte. And that is something Pulte has said. And what's funny is someone pulled up a picture the other day. I think it was back from 2022 or 2021. And Bill was basically essentially saying, I think it was on Twitter, that he was like an expert in MA and stuff because of, I think, Pulte Capital. So, I don't know, man. Pulte seems he said MA recently as well. Could it pertain to this? Could it pertain to something else? Nobody really knows because the only person that can talk on behalf of Pulte is Pulte himself. So, but it's interesting nonetheless to go back and actually analyze some of those things and see that. Number 1, twice with the 11. Ross is a boss. What kind of bourbon? Let's hear it, Ross.
Woodford Double Oak tonight.
Excellent. Right on.
Hold on, I gotta show you this part from the collection.
Wow, look at that, man. You gotta have me over sometime, Ross. We'll drink that whole goddamn thing in one night.
Come to Seattle.
Right on. I'll take you up on that offer there. Bobby Tables with the 2. How wet is the mushroom stamp tonight? Slap me. All right, we'll get you a mushroom stamp soon. We do have a little bit of wetness to it. Mo Money with the 2. GameStop Squires Pulte Homes. All right, right on. You heard it from Mo Money. Here's the mushroom stamp for you guys if you were curious how wet it sounds. shit. God damn it. You know what happened was that's the actual wrong one I re-uploaded. So my bad, fellas. Been trying to get the sound right. That one actually is not correct. My apologies. Yeah, that's not what it's supposed to sound like. Someone said that's fucking gross. All right. So Ross, what are your thoughts, man? Again, what are some of the things that you feel like you want to highlight? Again, we still have a little bit of time left at the show here before we start bringing it to a close. Is there something that you feel like should be highlighted, or something that perhaps hasn't been discussed? I feel like there hasn't been enough discussion with this plan administrator, essentially bringing on like 8 executives. Do you have an opinion on that at all, or what are your thoughts?
Not necessarily on that, but I do want to talk about the law firm that was brought on, Quinn.
Yes. All right. That's a good one too. Yeah. All right.
So I'm privileged to be friends with a lot of attorneys for social reasons, not because I have a criminal record or a need for them. But they all work, like, without going into details, I'm friends with a county judge here. I'm friends with 2 associate U.S. attorneys, partners at law firms in the U.S. and in New York City and stuff like that. And like, I asked them, like, Kirkland and Ellis and Prosecutor and these different firms, like, what are your guys' views on them? And like some of the consulting firms, like BDO and other folks that are involved, and like they have this like real no bullshit answers on who's good and who isn't and stuff. And like when you talk about like some of the firms that were brought in, like BDO, to help them and stuff, like they're really great at tax. And Deloitte's tax business is fantastic. So when I saw that on there, I'm like, hey, the null theory got stronger because Deloitte's so good at this stuff. I mean, and when you saw Kirkland and Ellis on them, they're like the #1 in corporate formation and actions, and like, how do you deal with ownership issues and stuff? But then I saw, Quinn, and I was talking to my, 2 friends who are in the civil commercial side, and they were like, you just start coaching your client on how to lose gracefully, because they don't take a client they can't win. Like, this is kind of their vetting process, is not, do you have enough money? It's, tell me your case. And if it's something that we can see a path clearly to winning, we'll take it and we'll absolutely drive everything to that path. And so they've developed this, like, there was some stuff they did with Toyota and other folks from a litigation standpoint, but like it led to this point where kind of like when they got hired, there's no settling. There's no negotiation. There's just, we're going to win in court. And it becomes one of those questions where they developed a reputation in the commercial side, which was, that's who's on the other side. Okay, how much money do you want to spend to learn that you're going to lose? Because let's just really quickly decide to just pay them because you're wrong. Like, they wouldn't have taken the case unless they saw a path to winning. That, I think, is fascinating.
But do you think who they're fighting against mainly is like the regulators? Like, I feel like the system in general, the way the system's set up, they don't want it to move forward.
Well, the FTC, I think, shot down like one of their deals back in February. We speculated that they did, right? And the FTC, it could have happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling there's fraud based on the internal investigation, the notes and things that's going on there. And I think it has to do with Class 6. Just based on some of the stuff I've seen in terms of people operating on both sides of the trade and not disclosing the other side and having, risk positions that were betting hard to offset the loan that gave them controls of the ability to mitigate that risk. So if that starts coming out as, there's a fiduciary duty you have when you're issuing debt to actually help the company and not actually drive it into the dirt.
Yeah.
That's basic law. You can't loan money to people and then actively seek their demise. Now, people do it all the time. That's what sharks are. That's why the mob exists. It's like,
right.
It doesn't not happen. It's a really tempting business. So I'm not going to pretend it doesn't exist in the real world of finance. But I think if it gets big enough and egregious enough, it starts becoming actionable, and you hire the right law firm to go after it.
But do you think that might be kind of what Ryan Cohen's tweet is going after? Is like, it's one thing that the middleman creates inflation by putting themselves in the middle, but it's another when a non-voted party, is like acting for the government, right? Like, you have all these non-voted people in the SEC and whatnot, and FINRA and the DTC, but also like the fact that the big banks like JP Morgan are too big to fail. And, you know, you have consulting people from BlackRock and, you know, all these different places where it's like there's not like, it's like a blurred line between the government and them, and they get access to loans at a much cheaper rate than us and all that. So it's like where that money goes, like the inflation, it causes inflation, but it's not even equally distributed. The benefit, like cost versus benefit, you're causing inflation, but then it's preferentially going towards these people that have shown that they're going to be greedy and destroy everything and walk away from the burning building and still get their severance pay. Like,
so, you know, there's certainly parasites feeding on the drama in the system, right? But I don't think that's really what's going on here. I think there is an exposure going on, and I don't know, like, I don't want to not get in trouble here. I don't want to like make a judgment here and say this is what happened, but it's reasonable that the firewalls between sides of the business weren't intact, and it's reasonable to assume that there is a restrictive covenant loan put in place to strangle the options of a company, and then making bets against it, and then using those restrictive covenants to drive it into the outcome that creates a payout for that put. Now, is that legal? Well, I don't know. I guess a good law firm should be hired to go figure out how do I make the case that this is fraud and that the loan was made in bad faith and that the core fiduciary covenant of the loan was never intact. And as a result, the ABL should be voided and all rights that JP on it should be voided as a result of the conflict and fraud. I can make that argument sitting here on a Zoom call or whatever this platform is.
Can they do that?
I just made the argument you can. Now let's get in front of a judge and see what happens when it gets into you made a bet that you had a higher financial motivation for the demise of this company, and then you put restrictive covenants in place that prevented them from having options to escape the outcome you were betting on. That's a reasonable obligation to say you broke your fiduciary duty as a lender.
Right.
In benefiting the client, right? Which is lending in good faith to the outcome. Anyway.
What do you think, Jade?
That's just some double O talking.
Yeah. Jade, what are your thoughts on all this shit? We haven't heard from you too much tonight. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, first of all, chat's on fire, and they need to be careful because of the fire that they're talking about could start fire. But actually, look, this filled in a lot of blanks for me. One of the things that jumped up is that I remember when you guys went to Florida, that when you went on the jet, that you were going to go to Texas, right? But the rockets on schedule were launching out of Florida. So the Texas piece, you know, okay, would that be obvious that it was Elon or, you know, some of the other fellows that are mentioned? And now I'm realizing I think it's to point in this direction that Jake2B went into. I think that was the Texas direction. Like that puzzle piece fit in there for me. Another thing is, this makes sense where the GameStop wallet has been parked, because this removed GameStop from having any issues with securities. And I've read some articles today where there's even, you know, been some discussion about the way, I'll just stop because that's going in the bond market. But the parking of that and removing the security discussion, if one of the owners of GameStop is involved in this transaction, like we believe, that would rule out a conflict of interest at arm's length, having that parked. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So it's like, well, I mean, Jake's DD was spot on. I mean, you can't get better than that. Ross plugging it together makes total sense. And then I see that whole crypto tech piece, brick by brick, that I brought up months ago at that ecosystem with Overstock, having that secured NFT piece, having the FHC, having our assets being moved over to 1155. Like, this is real. Like a few months ago, it was like, okay, if I could dream and make it be the best I wanted, that's where I was going with what the evidence was supporting. And yet it is real, people. We are days away. And the tiny little tinfoil that doesn't even matter because of the heavy hitting tonight is that Netflix removes The Big Short on October 31st. And I think with some of the dates, and I'm not issuing a date yet, I just think the spring is coiled tight and we are closer than we might know. That's what I think.
All right.
And thank you. You guys have been fabulous tonight. And the chat is like, this is the best chat ever. So thank you all and have a lovely night. And Dias, Ross, thank you for gracing us. I have no problem being quiet when we get to have you grace us. Thank you, sir, for coming by. I really appreciate you. And Dias, love you guys and see you guys soon.
All right. You heard it from AAA Jade. Let's get some love in the chat on her way out. Take care, Jade.
Hey, No Pie, I'm going to need a clip of her saying gracing me and stuff like that because my mom's going to need to see that. She's
all right.
You don't know what you're asking for. He's going to clip it up probably in a way that might shock you.
Yeah, No Pie, you've been called upon by Ross, so keep that in mind. All right. Let me see if there's anything else here for us to jump into tonight.
My wife's getting bourbon.
Right on. So there was a Byebye Baby in Texas that we can take a look at. There's also Teddy. There's trademark information for Teddy. It's wherever you fellas want to go, man. Why don't we talk a little bit of Teddy and then we can start bringing the show to a close. How does that sound?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and send this. All right. Let's go ahead and pull this up, Michael. Also, Wally Buck says GME wallet goes end of support on November 1st. OSTK becomes Bion on November 6th. That's very interesting, Wally.
It does seem like Loopring wallet they've been releasing a bunch of stuff. So it's like, I don't know, it seems like they're not, like the wallet's going to continue, but just not on specifically associated with GameStop.
Right. All right. So
avoid a conflict of interest personally, but
well, that's what I mean. I think it's kind of bullish actually.
How so?
Well, imagine you having a GM wallet and then you do this deal, and not specifically GME, but you do the T0 loop ring type of thing, and you go onto the decentralized, and you've got Ryan that maybe acquires Baby through GameStop. However, the logistics work out. It's kind of like, wow, you're running a stock security exchange, and you've got your own wallet. I just find a conflict of interest, and you really don't want the regulators kind of dipping into your affairs.
Right.
Kind of decentralized to get away from the central aspect to it.
Yeah. And, like the biggest thing for me has always been wondering like how GME is going to factor into all of this, because for me, it's very clear. Like when it was around the time of the stalking horse bid and shit, the tinfoil they were fucking putting out. I mean, for God's sakes, they put like sandwiches up that were basically like breadcrumbs. There's like the fucking Teddy NFT. There's the fucking what else? There's just been like a shitload of fucking stuff. But for me, the biggest one is the 1-2 switch and the horse head. For some reason, I just have a feeling that GameStop is potentially involved in this, but I can't seem to wrap my head around how this entire thing is going to function, right? And then like the loop ring stuff kind of starts to come into play a little bit. And, I mean, it's sometimes hard to wrap your head around it. So let's cover a little bit of Teddy here, unless you had an opinion on it, Michael.
Oh, actually, I had
sure.
One thing. Ross, do you know, can a company just buy like a percentage of a company, like a percentage of their stock? Like,
sure. It depends on how many shareholders there are. If you cross above the threshold for SEC mandatory reporting and public disclosure, then anybody seeking to buy more than 4.99% in the company has to file, I think it's a 8A or something, indicating they're acquiring or amassing more than a 5% interest in the company. And that is the first step before they're allowed. So you can't just go buy 20%. Typically, you cross the 5% threshold, become an own entity, and then you have to file your intent, which is I have an offer to buy X amount. So you can't, this is kind of the dark pool thing. Like you could, if you own 1% of a company, you can go buy 3% on a dark pool and it gets reported as a block trade if we didn't want to move the market. But if you own 7% of a company and want to go buy 1%, you've got to file it and go make an offer to acquire those shares, and you basically get an underwriter to acquire them for you. So it's kind of hard to really materially do that, you know?
Like, do you think that it would be in GameStop's interest to buy just like be like a 20% owner in Overstock? Because since they're both going to be doing distribution, like enough to, I don't know, share distribution centers and make that.
I think GameStop's a centralized platform that owns all of these retail stocks and has a basket theory on them where it's like, here's every short in the hell issued on a crypto platform, but that's my own personal fantasy that I go to sleep to every night. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know another way that this thing ends if it doesn't end up with GameStop owning some method, or Teddy. I guess Teddy is probably the better entity, where I think probably GameStop's a subsidiary as a retail entity to Teddy as a holding company. But that banking aspect of Teddy being registered as a bank is intriguing to me, and it sort of lends itself to. I don't think you're going to see T0, by the way, and I think Overstock's a distraction here. I think that's all just kind of a thing. By the way, in RC's original letter, he didn't seem to indicate, I'm really interested in towels and bath rails. It was babies, and I think he's interested in passion purchases. The thing about pets is people are passionate about them.
Right.
No one other than lonely 45-year-old women who can't do hot yoga right are interested in towel holders. Like, it's just not a passion thing, but kids are. You know, games are. Our pop culture is. Toys and play are. So there's all these brands that I think are passion projects that I think lend themselves to being reissued and recapitalized on a decentralized exchange. But I think it's really the wallet stuff that GameStop was playing. Like, you don't spend $30 or $40 million on headcount building crypto-based exchange platforms for NFTs.
Right.
Like, and throw it away and say, we're getting rid of the wallet, we're ditching all this stuff.
So
I think all that, look, I'm going to finish on this.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a private transaction where there's a non-material, sub 5% against the overall revenue of GameStop, acquisition of the crypto platform out of GameStop by Teddy, pull it up to the parent entity, and it becomes the DEX platform for managing all of these holding companies. There's my Charlie Day moment.
Wait, can you say that again?
All right, and then we have Empower here that he's going to explain some stuff. Let's hear it. Yeah, go ahead.
For that, because I love me some Kabbalah theory. But let's. I think you got also some things people who paid to hear their name. PP, do you want to cover those?
Cover like
Empower
in here?
PP, can you hear me real quick?
Yeah.
Some weird shit I need some eyeballs on ASAP. I just put on the your subreddit. I found something on the latest the Byebye Baby's corporate filing in Florida that's very peculiar. I need some wrinkle brains on it ASAP.
All right, let's take a look at it. Yeah, we'll pull it up right now. Michael,
I don't know why they call me fucking whatever butterscotch. Whatever. It's empowered. You'll see it. You'll see my USMC sign.
All right.
Please pull that up.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. All right, yeah, Michael's on it right now. Just give him just a moment. We got Danker here with the 5. I've assumed the original low bud autumn win was to feed the algo the data it needed to keep it ignorant to the grand play. Interesting. Appreciate the 5, Danker.
Wait, and we also got fart butterscotch.
Yes.
Fart butterscotch. Yeah, let's pull it up. And then Ann B with the 2.
One that
Kevin
says
Griffin.
Dead man walking.
Kevin Griffin sent Wally to take notes from Jake, and also we got Majin with the 2. Does Zeddy ring a bell? PP Zeddy? No, it doesn't. What is Zeddy? Fill me in. All right. So this is from Empower. It says, "Dead man walking. What doing on Byebye Baby's latest corporate filing?" All right. And what is here? We'll go ahead and read it. Bed Bath Beyond CFO Gustavo Arnal died by suicide. Medical examiner says This was published September 4th, 2022, and updated September 6th. All right, and why are we taking a look at Mr. Arnal's death?
Go to the fucking next slide.
All right.
There.
Go to the next slide. Can you pull?
Oh, it is slides. Okay.
All right. Filed March 6, 2023, and this is...
Who do you see as the director and treasurer?
Dead guy.
Oh, yeah.
The dead guy. Okay. Now go to Florida statute when it comes to foreign profit corporations.
Whatever
go
you
to the
do,
next slide.
don't showcast this, man.
This is some weird shit. Let me tell you something. It's like, what the fuck? Is Halloween or what?
Keep Kaz away from this one, fellas. All right. It says, can a director and treasurer remain in a Florida corporation after death? No. In Florida, directors and treasurers... Dude, I can't, I don't even know what to think if Kaz sees this. No, in Florida, directors and treasurers of a corporate cannot remain in their positions after their death. When a director or treasurer of a corporation passes away, their role becomes vacant. The corporation would need to follow its bylaws and state law to appoint a new director or treasurer to fill the vacant position.
All right, now
I hope that's one of the NDAs. Is they still alive? That'd be great.
Yeah, go to the
Can I
final
just point
slide.
out
This
we're
is
living
some
in a
weird shit.
fucking Carl Hyacin movie now?
What the fuck is Columbo? I need Columbo's eyeballs on this shit.
The next Wu-Tang clan is Tupac.
Oh, man.
Go to the final slide, PP.
All right, this is the final one. If a director or treasurer of a Florida corporation is still listed as active after their death, it could be due to administrative oversight or a delay in updating the official records. Corporations are responsible for maintaining accurate records with the Florida Department of State Division of Corporations. If a director or treasurer passes away, the corporation should update their records to reflect the change. Failure to do so might result in penalties or legal issues. It's essential to ensure that corporate records are kept up to date to maintain the corporation's legal, I can't see because the arrow, and compliance. Danker with the 2. Sorry for the typos. I always assume the original bit. No worries, Danker. Appreciate that. Did he rise from the dead? Why is Gustavo still listed as an active treasurer and director in BB Baby's latest corporate filing? 6 months following his death, the saga just keeps getting weirder. Need more wrinkle brains on it to explain. What do you think, Ross?
No, we're just living in a Carl Hyacin book now. It's like I could see a guy with a gassed up Avis Passat, a shovel, and a map to Florida, trying to find a graveyard. Let's prove some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this has definitely been the craziest fucking thing. I mean, what are you thinking, Power? I mean, what are you thinking about it?
You know what? Again, not to go too crazy on the tinfoil. This was filed more than 6 months ago, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on. And this is following 6 months after a key member of the corporation passes away, and a very prominent. It made all the news headlines, right? How could they make such an oversight? I don't believe in that shit. This is something, I don't know what's going on. Maybe this was kind of a setup that Byebye Baby will soon be wrapped into. Again, this is just pure tinfoil, but there's no way that a corporation can make that kind of mistake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is kind of bizarre.
I work at these corporations. They're full of people who make mistakes like that all the time.
Yeah, but a highly publicized death.
Yeah, the CFO's death, I feel like you couldn't really miss that on that. Yeah. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, but you're also talking about how many filings, guys, you're missing how many state filings people have to make. They're not going to get them all. There are so many. And you think, you've got incorporation records where you've got Section 16 officers listed on every record in 50 states.
Here's another question. Right. Here's another question.
Update every 50 state? No.
Well, I didn't they replace the CFO before this, though? Before this date, or no? But go ahead, also, Empower.
But, PP, I have a question. Okay, because on the original CNBC slide, it says that Bed Bath & Beyond CFO. Now, this one, it says Byebye Baby. Okay? It clearly says Byebye Baby. That's what alerted me. The mistake could have been made at Bed Bath & Beyond, the CFO, right? Because that was the status quo. That was the old, the previous and existing director. But Byebye Baby, again, this is
okay, guys, I want to be cautious here because this guy has family, and I want to just not stir.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I just find it very peculiar.
Hold on. He's a Section 16 officer, which means he shows up on all government reporting. Everything that has to be filed with any state agency gets his name on it. It doesn't mean that everything gets updated. It's at the next filing period. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've got LLCs in California from 2004. I still get notes on it. I haven't filed a company report on in 20 years because they're dead.
Ross, I want to back you up on this because there's also a very odd little thing that goes on in Florida, and I only happen to know because a good friend of mine who does.
There's more than one little odd thing that goes on in Florida.
Right. Well, but with these corporate listings, guess what? It is, and I forgot the name, and Ross, you'll know it. It is the type of filing where you only have to fill it out properly, the fields properly, and pay the fee. So in these corporate statements, you can list anybody as long as every box is filled out properly. And it's crazy, but you can pull up some trusts. And one is an ex-president who had people listed like generals and celebrities. And literally, it is simply because the procedure in Florida is an online, and I forgot the name of it. It begins with the letter P, I believe. Process where you literally fill in the fields. So this literally can be a data carryover because Florida does not check. No one checks this. You simply, if the form is filled out, they accept it. And if there is some problem that is brought up, they correct it then. And I can dig and come back around with the DD on the backside to show you this PP. But this is an anomaly in Florida on filing. So the fact that his name is on it, I'm wondering if it's pulling from data fields, like Ross said about being a listed officer, and it's just plugging in because no real eyes go on it in this certification process that Florida has.
Now,
so
allow me to correct you on that because I live in the state of Florida. I've incorporated a lot of corporations myself, okay, LLCs and corporations. On the annual filing, you have to specifically input the information. Okay, so, and I'm not saying that the Florida Department of Corporation made a mistake. Someone within Bed Bath & Beyond or Byebye Baby made the mistake. Was it intentional? That's something that remains to be seen. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you have to physically enter the corporation or all the officers' names. That's one thing before you can click submit. That's on the annual report. Okay. And this was 6 months following the gentleman's death. Again, I'm not glorifying this at all. I'm just bringing up a very peculiar point that I don't think a public traded company should be making. This is a very, very fatal error.
Well, as much as I would love to find a paranoid suspicion everywhere, I just want to point out there's a process called automated filers, which is where you have a central filing and your law firm typically handles it for you. And they basically file these things using a system. And that's what Jade is talking about. It inherits from your Section 16 officers. Look, I can't begin to describe. I grew up in Florida. I've had 4 companies in Florida. They don't check shit. Like, you have to get through it on the screen. But if you're an automated filer, your attorney will file it in a central system. It'll replicate to all 50 states. It'll update all your records to Section 16 and you're done. So I would love to see an actual suspicious thing here, but in the sake of this poor guy's family, I don't want to presume there's anything going on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, right on. Empower, anything else you want to add, man, tonight? Again, I know it's posted on the sub. Some people will take a look at it. Anything else you want to add tonight, man? Let's hear it.
I'm going to dig some more, but I appreciate the group's input. But, I'll dig some more. So have a good night, folks.
All right. You heard it from Empower, man. Appreciate having you on. All right. You heard it from Empower. All right. We'll start bringing the show to a close here. I think there was a lot of stuff that we kind of covered today that was great. Why don't we go ahead and start with Jade? Jade, give us some closing thoughts on the way out.
Oh, well, thanks for having me back up. And look, Empower, in no way am I having any beef with you. It was just something I recently learned myself through a friend. And when I find the info, I will send it to you if you're okay with that too. I guess I'm just erring on the side that Ross is coming in from. So I just want to, stand on how happy I am to see the brick by brick of the GameStop system, the ecology coming together. And, again, I think you guys have the best chat, and I love the show, and thank you. And I think we're close, so thank you.
All right, you heard it from Jade. Chad, let's get some love for Jade on her way out. Take care, Jade. We got Danker with the 5. Maybe Gustavo's value is represented by a trust he may have made before he passed. That's actually a very good point, Danker. Kriggle with the 10. Ask yourselves, what would be the benefit of this guy's name still on the document? Liability doesn't seem to be any incentive to intentionally leave the name. You were right, Kriggle. Right on. Appreciate the love as well. All right, let's go ahead and take it over to Wally Buck. Wally Buck, give us some thoughts on the way out, man. What are you thinking? What's on your mind?
I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be involved in this play. There's a lot that's going to happen, I believe, here in the next 2-3 weeks or so, and I'm here for it. I'm excited. The only thing I wanted to share, and I've got a screenshot of this. I know there is some fatigue of screenshots from brokerage accounts, but a friend of mine yesterday sent me one from a brokerage that I had not seen a screenshot of yet, and it clearly spells out. It's an American brokerage account. Clearly spells out in English that under the comment section, and I can share this really quickly if you'd like, PP.
Sure.
So here we go. Got this.
Just let me know when to share it there.
Yep, I'm good. So this was sent to me by someone. They're not on Reddit. They're not frequent watchers of the PP show, but we just talk offline about this stock all the time. And this is a sort of lower volume brokerage. I don't know if anyone else has seen this screenshot from these guys, but here in America, American brokerage, so different from Canada, where we were kind of keying off of that push out tag. We're seeing here under the comments being a cash reorganization transaction and maybe stock acquisition. So, what is it? Another shred of tinfoil. Other than that, not quite sure, but it's a lot more context than I know I received from any of my brokers when the shares were, removed from my account or recalled back to a liquidating trust. So I just thought this was interesting. I wanted to share. Other than that, happy to be here. And PP, I think it's probably best to give some of the people in the chat what they want and give me a nice juicy dildo slap out.
All right, enjoy it, man. This is the less squishy one, not as squishy as the one earlier. So Wally, appreciate having you on. Take care.
See you guys.
All right. How does that one sound? That one's a little more toned down. That was the one I worked on today. I feel like it's perfect. It's like you got the smack. You still get like the little bit of wetness, and it's just perfection, man. All right. Let's go ahead and take it over to Ross. Ross, let's hear it, man. Give us some closing thoughts. Give the people at home what they want to hear. When the fuck does this thing conclude, Ross? Let's hear it.
Sometime between now and November 20th.
All right. That's what I figured, too, with the Chapter 11 plan being due and all that stuff.
Yeah. We got to close by some point. I just want to just thank you guys for being here every night and keeping folks informed, keeping people engaged, and keeping people connected and communicating. I want to thank the due diligence that everybody brings and the insights. Jake2B bringing fire tonight. I really like his insights. I want to thank Salvatore for his unwavering conviction at all times. So I'm just very grateful for you guys. So thank you for letting me be part of this.
All right, right on. We love you here at the show, Ross, too, and a whole chat. You got a ton of people in the sub and the chat that love hearing from you, man. So, Ross, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come onto the show and hang with us and answer some questions. All right, take care.
Have a good night. See you.
See you, Ross. All right, let's take it over to Michael. Michael, give us some thoughts, man, on the way out. What are we thinking?
Man, I really like the RC tweet. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But not just inflation, but like who's the one causing it and what cost does that come at? I've been kind of trolling the SEC on Twitter a little bit. which is fun. But yeah, I'm excited for everything. I love being part of this, and I'm glad I'm here. So I think we're gonna get good news soon.
All right, right on. You heard it from Michael, man. Michael, enjoy the rest of the night, and appreciate you coming on the show, and hope to see you tomorrow, man.
All right, see you then.
All right, take care. ABC, man, what do you think? I mean, Jake, Ross, you yourself bringing some things forward, you know, especially with that article. I mean, again, something has to be happening at this point, and I find it hard to believe that the company files Chapter 11 and essentially just wipes our shares within 6 months. I don't buy it, man. You know, typically something like this is usually drawn out for a longer period of time. Again, all of a sudden, people all of a sudden are experts in bankruptcy, man, that we've never seen before. And again, you know, we're not experts either here at the show. We just can analyze documents and try to come to some kind of conclusion on everything. What do you think, ABC? How do you want to, what would you like to tell everyone at home, man, on their way out as they enjoy the rest of the night?
I mean, across all the brokerages, the brokerages have no idea what's going on. And I believe that's purposeful. I believe there has been a corporate action to recall all the shares. Now, some brokers are saying liquidated because of the bankruptcy plan on September 29th, and they're looking at the words and saying, you know, no, worthless, no value, and they're kind of trying to clear the accounts. My suggestion, again, it's not financial advice, do not sign any waiver from your brokerage at this point. We're still in Chapter 11. We still have protection. And ultimately, I think this recall of shares is being done on purpose, and there's two reasons. One, if we are going to the digital blockchain, we are not going to go from a public company onto T0 as a public company. T0 does not offer that service. It would take way too long. They can't facilitate the transfer of all those shares. What they do as an organization is they do something called IPOs and taking private companies public through their back end, through their decentralized exchange. So my theory being is that there's been a recall of all these shares. They've been wiped out. There's a new subsidiary that's been formed, a new parent company, DK Butterfly, and what's going to end up happening is, in a sense, that one is either going to go back to the public exchange or it's going to go private, and we're going to be listed through T0 on a decentralized platform. There's a lot of speculation as to which way it's going. I don't have the answer. We're soon going to find out, but we just got news today that more stores are opening for Byebye Baby. Some harmless stores are reopening in New Jersey as well. We do know that the final plan date is November 20th. We've already passed the governmental bar deadline, which was over October 20th. No more claims can be filed.
Right.
Hobby Lobby deal was resolved today. So the judge signed off on that one. They're just cleaning up things, putting things in place. And I think soon we're going to find out. But, you know, to me, you can't sell, you can't buy. You're in Chapter 11. It's not being liquidated. I mean, why would stores be opening if it was being liquidated? So the only question is, are we going to be made whole? That's the only question. It's not about liquidation or anything. That discussion should well be over. It should have been well over months ago once we started seeing the IP and the stuff being sold, and yet there was still this core asset that, and a lot of leases weren't even in the auction. So there'd be no more discussion about liquidation. This company is coming out, and it's either going to come out again as a public company or it's going to come out as a private company, and we're going decentralized. That's really, now the question is, are we going to be made whole? My question to everybody out there is, it would, in my opinion, when retail investors own 99.6% of all the shares out there, and institution only owns 0.2 and insiders only own 0.2, so only 0.4 of all the shares out there are held by insiders or institutions, it would be very smart if it is RC, Carl, and the team that we believe to bring 99.6% of all the shareholders, because one, there's some loyalty there. They held through all this shit. They're going to be your best and longest stockholders out there. And two, they're avid proponents of your brand and our consumers themselves. So that's really the only question. And I think we're going to find out very, very shortly.
All right. Right on. You heard it from ABC, man. ABC, beautifully said, and appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your opinions tonight. Again, enjoy the rest of the night, man, and hope to see you later on in the week.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Take care. There you have it, man. The fucking PP show. All right. We got together. We talked some DD, man. Ross came on the show. Jake2B with his exclusive PP fucking DD, man. Right on, Jake. Love to see it. Again, I hope you guys got some ideas on, kind of what's happening. Again, people can only speculate and try to guess what's happening. But, fellas, the thing is that we'll see soon enough. Again, I think this will be wrapped up before the 20th. Maybe it goes to the 20th of November. Who knows, man? But nonetheless, while we wait, we can at least get together, have a good time, and try to fucking figure out what's going on together, man. Again, because there's nothing wrong with getting together and talking about something that you love, man. So keep that in mind. All right. So again, I'm just going to say as we bring the show to a close, if you have not verified your PP Pulte ticket, please try to get into contact with me via Twitter. All right. We need to get you inside of this group chat where we will be able to disclose locations, things like that eventually for when the show or when we do the show in person, all right, in December. So you got to get verified, fellas. It's very, very important. So again, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night. Good luck in the markets tomorrow, man. I can't wait to hear all about it. Until then, we'll see you guys probably tomorrow. And until then, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night. I'll leave you with this wet dildo slap on the way out, fellas. Enjoy the night. Love you guys. Thank you for all that you guys do, whether you donate, watch the show. We love having you nonetheless. And thank you for being such an amazing chat. So take care, fellas. Enjoy the dildo slap.